22nd of January. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and a winter storm watch posted for the bi-state region as bitter cold arrives Friday. Snow moves in Saturday. We've got what you need to know coming up.
I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Maria Aquino with what St. Louis police are saying about a fatal shooting in the Central West End.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine through some high clouds today, the high near 40.
I'm Joe Pott. We'll talk more about college football's new national champion and debate the Hall of Famers in baseball. That's all coming up in sports.
We've got CBS News coming your way. President Trump signs the founding charter of his Board of Peace at the Tone. It's 6 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is winding down his whirlwind 24 hours at the World Economic Forum in Davos by launching his new Board of Peace, designed to oversee Gaza.
To each and every one of you, we are truly honored by your presence today. Leaders of countries, in most cases, very popular leaders. Some cases not so popular, but that's the way it goes.
He's threatened to end Hamas if it doesn't disarm. He's also agreed to a last-minute meeting with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky on a possible peace deal with Russia. Mr. Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff.
We've got it down to one issue, and we have discussed iterations of that issue, and that means it's solvable.
A verdict last night in the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas.
In each of the 29 counts, we, the jury, find the defendant, Adrian Gonzalez, not guilty.
The former school police officer 6 hours of deliberating. There was a record drop in homicides in the U.S. last year.
The Independent Council on Criminal Justice collected data from 35 cities and found the homicide rate dropped 21% from a year earlier. Last year's murder rate may have been the lowest since 1900. Assaults, carjackings, and shoplifting were also down. New York recorded the lowest number of shootings in its history, with homicides down 20%. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
These are not incremental gains. They're historic outcomes.
The council's report says it's too early to tell what prompted the drops in crime. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Dangerous winter storm set to blast more than 24 states from Texas to New York with heavy snow, ice, freezing rain, and Arctic air. CBS meteorologist Lonnie Quinn.
Snowfall Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast. You're going to be dealing with this on Saturday and Sunday. It is into the Northeast.
This year's Oscar nominations will be announced next hour.
Love you, brother. Be careful.
Critics are betting on Sinners and one battle after another to lead the pack.
This is the end of the line. Not for you.
They're not discounting Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, or Hamnet in the Best Picture category.
Tell me a story.
What story would you like?
Something that moves you.
Dow futures up 123. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At 6:03, we have clear skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, January 22nd. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. First the cold, then the snow. Here's KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with what the latest forecast models are saying for our region this weekend.
Two things are going to conspire against us over the next 3 days. One of them is an Arctic air mass that's going to come blasting into the area starting later tonight. That's going to drop temperatures into the single digits by morning and stay in the low teens tomorrow. The other part of it is a storm that'll be brewing over the course of the next 48 hours. It will cut to our south and east, and with all this Arctic air in place, we don't have to worry about the form of precipitation, just the timing and how much. Looks like there'll be a couple of pieces of this winter system. One will come in on Saturday with some intermittent light snow. Then it gets a little steadier with the second piece coming through Saturday night, lasting into early Sunday before moving away. The most probable accumulation is 3 to 6 inches, and higher amounts are in play depending on the exact track of the storm. And behind it, it stays unusually cold right into the beginning of next week.
MoDOT getting ahead of this weekend's winter weather.
Despite the first snowfall days away, the St. Louis branch of the Missouri Department of Transportation is already beginning to pre-treat area highways. In the first major snowfall of the winter season, MoDOT admitted they failed to pre-treat the highways, anticipating the snowfall would come later in the day. This contributed to an abundance of chaos on the roads, including extensive backups and a number of accidents. MoDOT is currently treating the roads with a beet juice and brine mix. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun. City officials are delivering a blunt message to drivers ahead of the storm. If you don't have to go out, stay home. Streets Commissioner Ken Flake warns that even with pre-treating, the combination of precipitation and single-digit temperatures will likely make roads slick and dangerous. He says keeping traffic off the streets is the only way to give plow crews the physical space they need to work. Beyond the roads, the health department is asking residents to check on elderly neighbors and to bring pets indoors, warning that the wind chill will make it unsafe to be outside for any extended period.
A tractor trailer load full of Lunchables caught fire overnight on eastbound I-44 in St. Louis County. One lane of the highway was closed in Eureka near Williams Road. No injuries were reported.
Officers were responding to that shots fired call. As they were responding, they saw the vehicle that was leaving very quickly, and then that's when the traffic stop was conducted.
St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy on a shooting that led to a man's death in the Central West End.
But when St. Louis police stopped the fleeing car, they did not know 27-year-old Jamal Jones had allegedly shot someone. It wasn't until 1 o'clock Wednesday morning when University City Police advised SLMPD that a missing person's cell phone was pinging in the area of Whittier and Olive, the same place where the earlier shots fired call came from.
All information that we have now indicates that the victim and suspect, everybody knows each other in some fashion here, and that he was there on unrelated business.
McCoy says investigators believe the shots fired call and subsequent killing are related. Jamal Jones is facing first-degree murder charges. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
St. Louis police identified the shooting victim as 23-year-old Jardin Walker.
The St. Louis City Police Department is being audited. Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says the review's purpose is to better understand the department's operations during the transition from local control to board-appointed control. Auditor Fitzpatrick says they will be taking a focused look on how to help the department eliminate waste and reduce the risk of fraud.
The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to review Missouri's Durnell case involving a jury award of $1.25 million to a plaintiff who sued Bayer over its Roundup product.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young explains what's at issue.
Can states' requirements to label products, can that override federal law, which federal law has already what's called preempted the area when it comes to labeling of insecticides?
Young predicts the High Court will likely strike many of the verdicts against Bayer and send the cases back to trial courts. He says jurors there would not be able to consider state labeling laws about risk of use. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Bayer says it welcomes a Supreme Court review and anticipates a decision before the end of June. From the business desk sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the bankruptcy filing of Saks Global could have a major impact on a Clayton-based company, Caleres. The parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus carries Stuart Weitzman shoes, a high-end brand that Caleres acquired last fall.
The CEO of Caleres says they're still evaluating the full impact of that bankruptcy, but warned of possible volatility in its fourth quarter earnings. Caleres CEO Jack Calandra is leaving the company at the end of the month. Don Carpel, currently Senior VP and Chief Accounting Officer, will serve as interim CEO.
It is 6:08. We're going to check the roadways and the weather as things turn bitter cold and wintry as we head towards the weekend. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10. Let's get the latest on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, there's still no change on 44 on Eureka. You mentioned the overnight semi-fire, the Lunchables that are no longer on eastbound 44. It really destroyed that trailer. I mean, aluminum burns pretty easily, obviously. So the trailer was destroyed, and that's what's making the cleanup difficult on eastbound 44. So as a result, only the left lane is still open on eastbound 44 east of 109, and we have a jam back just east of Six Flags now, pretty solid. So it's a couple miles of backed up traffic on eastbound 44. Eastbound 70 is thinned out coming through Wright City. Got all the barrels picked up there. The rest of the interstates look good, even in the construction zones. I'm not seeing any slowdowns as of yet. You may still find restrictions on 50 east of Carlisle between Shattuck and Huey. That's where we had a fatal crash that occurred about 3:45 this morning. And at last check, they were still doing investigation work. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, cold weather advisory from midnight tomorrow night through noon Saturday. There's also a winter storm watch from midnight tomorrow night through noon Sunday. Sunshine filtered through some high clouds today, the high 40. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. It will become breezy and much colder by morning, low 7, with AccuWeather real field temperatures dropping to 5 to 15 below. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and bitterly cold, the high only 12 above, with real fields below 0. Saturday, cloudy, frigid with some snow. Expect deteriorating travel conditions, the high 12. That snow will continue into early Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's cloudy and 23 degrees downtown.
Yadier Molina back in the fold with the Cardinals. I have those details in sports.
And the news continues now at 6:12. St. Louis County Public Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham skipped a call to testify before the council, claiming an urgent budget crisis required her immediate presence at the animal shelter. Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days read the director's last-minute email into the record.
I'm focused on addressing the council's budget cuts that affect feeding the animals and utilizing emergency veterinary services.
But when pressed by the chair, Deputy Director Malik Johnson admitted that contrary to the director's email, the shelter has not run out of food.
There was a supplemental request, I guess 6 days into the, have you run out of dog food?
No.
You have not run out of dog food. Okay. All right. Well, that's disappointing that she's not here, but we have to move along.
Staff confirmed the facility is currently housing 131 dogs, more than double its ideal capacity, but insisted the population remains manageable.
An arrest in St. Charles with a Forestell man accused of stealing bronze vases from a cemetery. Our news partners at Fox 2 caught up with Police Lieutenant Dan Gibbons and a cemetery visitor.
That just stirs up a lot of emotion with people, rightfully so.
That's pretty low. I mean, why would you come to a cemetery just to make money? I mean, what are you going to do? These are sacred ground.
47-year-old Brett Stowell is charged with theft of property over $25,000, which is a felony.
With bitter cold weather, snow, and high flu activity, hundreds of blood drives across the country have been canceled over the past month, and the Red Cross's blood supply has dropped 35%. The shortage is especially serious for platelets and types O, A negative, and B negative. Donors are urged to make a donation appointment as soon as possible.
The number of heart disease and stroke deaths has declined. We get that from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
A new American Heart Association report shows heart disease remains the leading cause of death in the U.S., with stroke now ranking fourth, ahead of COVID. But after years of increases, deaths from both are starting to decline. Northwestern University researcher Dr. Sadia Khan.
The recent estimates for obesity, which are at about 40% for adults and about 20% for kids, really highlight a key opportunity where we can do more, particularly related to dietary changes, physical activity, as well as medication if needed.
Dr. Khan says we have now returned to the pre-COVID death rates for heart disease and stroke. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Ahead in KMOX News at 6:22.
A former Bush entertainment exec weighs in on the Six Flags rumors.
Is it possible that this is just a clever entrepreneur who can see the handwriting on the wall?
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
A familiar face back in the fold with the St. Louis Cardinals.
And a 1-1 for Yadier Molina. Swing and a bolt into the left field corner. That's going to drive home two more. And Yadi heads for second. He'll make it with an RBI double to drive in two more, and the Cardinals now have 8 runs.
Well, he won't be doing that, of course, but Yadier Molina is back with the Cardinals organization. The Cardinals announced yesterday that former catcher Yadier Molina has rejoined the organization as a special assistant to President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom. Bloom said in the team press release, Yadi will provide input on catching program, will advise our staff on catching and game planning strategy, and will give me and our front office valuable perspective from his unique vantage point. Perhaps most important, he will help us nurture our players in the high standards, attention to detail, and championship mindset that are so crucial to winning. Molina is the lone player in baseball history to catch 2,000 or more career games for one team. His 2,184 games caught ranks 4th overall. His 2,112 starts and 1,234 wins in games caught are second most behind Hall of Famer Ivan Rodriguez, while his .99490 fielding percentage is fractionally second to A.J. Pierzynski, who had a .99496 fielding percentage. He played for Puerto Rico in 4 World Baseball Classics and served as manager in 2023, also plans to do it again this year. Matt Pauley reacted to the move yesterday on Rush Hour Sports.
It's good to have as many smart people in the organization as possible, and nobody has ever questioned the intelligence of Yadier Molina and the baseball intelligence of him. I think Chaim Bloom, one of the big changes that we're seeing in the organization, maybe change is too strong a word, but certainly a tweak or a focus, is Chaim wants as many voices in the room as possible, and he wants a spirit of collaboration where everybody is given their thoughts and their opinions, and it's respected and considered and everything. So to bring in another voice, and that voice being Yadier Molina's voice, it's a pretty solid move for the organization.
Matt Pauley yesterday on Rush Hour Sports. You can hear that entire show on the podcast page at KMOX.com. College basketball, a couple local games tonight. SIUE will play host to Tennessee State. That is a nationally televised game on ESPNU. It's an 8 o'clock start in Edwardsville at First Community Arena. And Lindenwood, it is in action tonight. They will take on Tennessee Tech. That is a 7:30 start over in St. Charles. Our next sports update comes up at 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Long before modern broadcasting took shape, Franz Laux became the very first full-time play-by-play announcer at KMOX and one of the most influential voices in early American radio. Beginning in the 1920s, Laux brought Cardinals baseball to life with his detailed storytelling that connected fans across the Midwest. His national broadcasts for CBS, including multiple World Series, helped cement KMOX as the home of big league baseball on the radio.
There goes the drive. Looks like it might be pretty close to the wall. It's taken out there. And
A true pioneer, Franz Laux laid the foundation for every great sports broadcaster who followed and helped build KMOX into the sports voice of St. Louis. Franz Laux, a KMOX pioneer.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 0% financing for 60 months, $1,000 off, plus a bonus vacation voucher. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
It's a strike call! A no-hitter for Gibson!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got lots to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20 and time for us to get a check of the roadways and the weather. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Megan Lynch, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change on eastbound 44 out in Eureka, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. We have that overnight tractor-trailer fire that destroyed the semi eastbound 44 east of 109. Still only the left lane open as the cleanup continues. Traffic is jammed back to Six Flags on eastbound 44, just crawling through that area. There's a little more volume in other spots. Northbound 55, north of Bayless up to River de Pears, a little slow. North 270, north of Tesson Ferry, a little bit of a slowdown there. We have a rescue crash westbound Page at Lackland. Restrictions there and a backup, not quite midway back to Lindbergh, but it's getting pretty heavy through that area. Illinois interstates still look great headed for the bridges downtown. You may still find restrictions on 50 east of Carlisle between Shattuck and Huey due to a fatal crash investigation from earlier this morning. Need a new garage door? Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorslouis.com. Deadline to enter is the end of the month. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorslouis.com. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Joe Lundberg's going to be along in about 20 minutes to give us the latest on that winter weather that's expected to move in starting tomorrow night. But for today, we're expecting sunshine with some high clouds, a high around 40, partly to mostly cloudy tonight, breezy and colder with an overnight low of 7. And then tomorrow, cloudy, breezy, bitterly cold, a high of 12. Right now, we have 26 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:21. All right, the monkey madness seems to have slowed down since last weekend. There have been no new sightings, and St. Louis police spokesman Mitch McCoy says reports from the city health department that a St. Louis police officer saw one of the monkeys.
We have no evidence to believe that any SLMPD officer saw the monkey or monkeys.
As for their friend, the goat, who the monkeys seem to have picked up along the way, if you believe social media, the goat also remains at large.
We continue to dig into those mysterious Enchanted Parks trademark filings, which list Six Flags St. Louis as a potential acquisition.
While it might seem like a done deal because of those trademark applications, one industry expert suggests it could be more like a bet on the company's failure. Scott Swinson is a former SeaWorld creative executive who spent 16 years with the then Bush Entertainment Corporation. On the Green Tech podcast, he questions whether the group filing for these names has actually joined up with the money to buy that many big parks.
Is it possible that this is just a clever entrepreneur who can see the handwriting on the wall? To me, it just opens up a bunch of possibilities for them.
That handwriting on the wall includes a recent corporate presentation from Six Flags, which revealed the bottom 12 parks, a list many analysts believe includes St. Louis, generates only 10% of the company's total revenue. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Education experts from Mississippi are in St. Louis this week looking at ways Missouri can improve student learning.
So Mississippi went from the bottom of the country to the national average in 2019. We've recovered from the pandemic and math and reading at 4th and 8th grade levels. And if you adjust for our demographics, we have the number one students in the country.
Rachel Cantor is Director of Education Policy with the Progressive Policy Institute and founding executive director at the nonprofit Mississippi First.
Cantor says it was a combination of early student screening, raising academic standards, providing schools clear guidance and support, and changing the way the state taught reading. Cantor speaking this week as part of an education town hall hosted by the Opportunity Trust.
A new Missouri audit suggests more lottery advertising may not be paying off for Missouri schools.
Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says the lottery boosted its advertising budget by roughly $5 million last year, yet overall lottery revenue fell by more than $49 million. That meant less money for education, with transfers dropping by more than $18 million. Fitzpatrick says earlier years showed the opposite trend. Lottery proceeds rose when advertising spending was much lower. He says the findings give lawmakers something to consider as they decide next year's lottery advertising budget. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
New research highlights how delays in moving stroke patients between hospitals can lead to worse long-term outcomes.
A study published by The Lancet Neurology suggests gaps in the U.S. stroke transfer system may raise the risk of disability for survivors. Researchers found more than 40% of patients who need endovascular therapy are first taken to hospitals that do not provide the specialized treatment. That means critical delays, sometimes lasting hours before a patient is transferred to a facility that can perform the procedure. Dr. Sean Prabhakaran with the University of Chicago Medicine says public awareness is a key factor, noting that recognizing stroke symptoms early can help patients get to the right hospital faster.
Recognizing the symptoms early, because that delay is also really important. And we should try to reduce that by educating the public about signs and symptoms of a stroke. Calling 911 is still the right answer. Getting to a hospital by car is, one, could be dangerous, and two, could actually be delaying your care.
Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
There's a call for the world's most famous groundhog to retire.
It's Punxsutawney Phil!
PETA wants to swap out Pennsylvania's fluffy weather predictor for a state-of-the-art hologram. The animal rights group has sent the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club's president a letter suggesting a 3D projection with vocal capabilities at Gobbler's Knob, so Phil and his family can hibernate in peace at a reputable sanctuary. PETA's founder Ingrid Newkirk says pixelated pop stars are headlining concerts and long-departed celebs attending conventions. So why not stop harassing shy old Phil and switch to a phantom prognosticator? Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
It's now 6:26. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Attention, Missouri baby boomers. The Give 5 program wants to connect you with volunteer opportunities that fit your skills and passions. Learn how you can lend a helping hand and bring positive change to those who need it most in just 5 hours a month. Signing up is easy. Just attend our next free class in your local community. Visit our website at MissouriGive5.org to find a class near you. Brought to you by Missouri Area Agencies on Aging.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish? I never like the bar of soap. What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores. Weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
It is now 6:30. We've got mostly cloudy skies. It's 23 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Megan Lynch. We'll check the forecast in just a moment. First, though, let's get an update on your ride into work with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the biggest issue we have is the tractor-trailer fire from the overnight on eastbound 44 Megan, east of 109. It looks like the two left lanes are open now. It's sort of hard to tell but with the glare, but it looks like two left lanes are open now. We still have a jam, though, approaching Six Flags on eastbound 44, so still several miles of traffic jammed up in the area there. I had a report of some guardrail sticking out in the traffic lane, eastbound 70 near Forest Hill. I'm seeing some slow down traffic midway back to Wright City now on eastbound Highway 70, eastbound 64. Crossing over from southbound 61 to Prospect. Looks a little busy. There's a crash on the shoulder. North 270 near the Sappington or overpass, so traffic is slowing. Approaching Tesson Ferry, northbound 55, the right lanes are a little busy north of Butler Hill. All lanes from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear are heavy, and they're working this crash westbound on Page at Lackland. There's a short jam up there, rescue crash. It's not quite jammed midway back to Lindbergh so far. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather right now is not the issue. It really starts to get dicey on Saturday. In the meantime, we're looking at sunshine today with a high around 40. It starts to get bitterly cold overnight with a low of 7, but it's going to feel as cold as 15 below overnight. And not much warmer tomorrow, a high of 12 with real feels remaining below 0 for tomorrow. We'll get you the full update on the forecast coming up from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, coming up at 6:40. Right now, it's mostly cloudy and 23 degrees.
It's 6:32, and forecasters are warning of significant snowfall for much of the KMOX listening area this weekend. The National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch for St. Louis City and County, St. Charles, Jefferson County, and the entire Metro East. That watch is for late Friday night through Sunday morning. Forecasters are predicting 4 to 6 inches of accumulation.
Brutally cold temperatures are on the way, but that doesn't mean you should crank up the heat. Instead, Kara Schwer with Northern Illinois Utility ComEd says keep the thermostat as low as comfortably possible.
So everyone's preference is different, but it's important to lower your thermostat and layer up. And then when you're going to sleep at night or when you're leaving for the day, make sure you're turning your thermostat down as well so that it's not heating a home that's unoccupied.
Other tips include changing furnace air filters, opening blinds and shades during the day, and sealing any air leaks.
State Representative Amy Ellick of Alton says the policy gap between Illinois and Missouri is widening, with one looking to spend more and the other looking to stop taxing income entirely. Ellick notes while Missouri lawmakers are actively finding ways to shrink their government size, Springfield continues to search for new cash to fuel its spending.
In Missouri, lawmakers are even working toward eliminating the state income tax by identifying responsible budget cuts. That's what leadership looks like. In contrast, the people in power in Illinois thirst for more revenue and will do everything they can to get it.
Ellick warns that unless Illinois stops looking for new revenue, it will be impossible to compete with a neighbor that doesn't tax income. And by the way, we will be talking about that tax issue and the proposal by Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe, the pros and cons of phasing out Missouri income tax at 8:11 this morning here on KMOX.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up at 6:33.
This is John Pertzborn with Ben and Gentry for heatupstlouis.org.
We're the Golden Boys.
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer.
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1
at participating area Hardee's.
It's heatupstlouis.org to also pre-order. That's heatup, STLOUIS.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oi!
6:34, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. 2/3 of the nation is bracing for the severe winter storm that could cause unusually low temperatures. Natural gas futures have jumped to the highest level in 4 years and are on track for a weekly gain of more than 70%. Surging gas prices spell trouble for consumers struggling with high energy bills. Checking in on stocks, President Trump says he will refrain from imposing tariffs on European nations opposing his effort to take Greenland. That sent the S&P soaring close to 1.2% yesterday. This morning, stocks are seeing more gains. S&P futures are up 37 points, Dow futures rising 160. And the head of ChatGPT owner OpenAI has been meeting with investors in the Middle East. Sources tell us CEO Sam Altman is looking to line up funding for a new investment round that could total at least $50 billion. OpenAI has raised billions of dollars in recent years to help finance the immense cost of chips and data centers. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is now 6:38, and you're listening to Total Information AM. President Trump's new Board of Peace is taking shape.
Please welcome the chairman of the Board of Peace, the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
A signing ceremony Thursday at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, for President Donald Trump's new Board of Peace, which began as part of the peace process for Israel and Gaza. But Trump says the board can help mediate conflicts around the world. Trump says 59 countries have signed on so far, from Azerbaijan to Paraguay to Hungary.
We are truly honored by your presence today. Leaders of countries, in most cases, very popular leaders. Some cases, not so popular, but that's the way it goes in life.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says his country is still consulting with its strategic partners before deciding to commit. France, Norway, and Sweden say they will not participate. I'm Donna Warder.
Parents are confused by an overhaul of the U.S. childhood immunization guidelines. I'm Jackie Fortier, and this is your KFF Health News Minute. The number of diseases the federal government says children need to be vaccinated against dropped from 17 to 11. Here's California pediatrician Eric Ball.
Many families are worried that the vaccines will be unavailable for their children.
Insurance will still cover the shots, but public health officials say the new guidance puts the burden on busy parents to research each childhood vaccine. People 65 and older are the fastest growing homeless population in the country. Traditional shelters often can't accommodate them, so some new shelters are stepping up. They're making rooms more accessible for people with mobility issues and adding places to store medications. Some have caseworkers to help seniors get medical care and other services. Rising rents and nursing home closures are just two of the reasons older people are ending up on the street. There's more at kffhealthnews.org.
6:40. Let's try to help you get to work this morning. We head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, where are the big problems this morning?
Well, eastbound 44, Megan, out in Eureka, that's the main one right now that we're still dealing with. That tractor-trailer fire from the overnight hours that pretty much destroyed that trailer and made the cleanup lengthy. Eastbound 44, east of 109, between there and the Merrimack. It looks like the two left lanes are open. They're getting the traffic on from that Williams on-ramp merging in with the eastbound 44 traffic. So still a big mess. It's still jammed back west of Six Flags, so that's several miles of jam traffic on eastbound 44 at this time. So be prepared. Eastbound 70, back to seeing a jam coming through Wright City, just east of Wright City. We had a guardrail reportedly pushed into the traffic lanes from an earlier wreck. So they have restrictions there, and they're waiting for MoDOT to come and try to fix that, get it out of the way. So there's a jam up there. Southbound 61, midway between Highway P and Wentzville Parkway on the 64 to almost Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's heavy. North 270, 55 up through Gravois, slow, a little busy around Manchester. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River de Pere. You've got a backup there. Eastbound 70, a little bit of a backup through Lucas Hunt headed toward Jennings Station as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
All right, it's 6:42, and it's not today that you need to worry about. It's everything else. We'll let our AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg explain how this is all going to move through.
Yeah, today is okay. I mean, we're going to see some sunshine and temperature will get up to about 40 degrees. I would just like to bottle this and keep it through the weekend. Unfortunately, the reality is Arctic air is going to start pouring in even as early as tonight. By morning, we're going to be down to 7 degrees, and the real field temperatures are likely to be as much as 5 to 15 degrees below zero. Mostly cloudy day, breezy, bitterly cold, or high 12. The real fields never get above zero. And then the storm moves in, and I think it comes in two distinct pieces. The first one's fairly light on Saturday, but enough to make things very, very slippery because it's so cold, or high 12. The second piece comes through Saturday night and early Sunday, and that's when we'll get the bulk of the storm. 3 to 6 inches are projected storm total with locally higher amounts in play, depending on the exact track and how this plays out. Sunday's high 15. It will start to improve later Sunday, and then Monday, back to some sunshine, but still lacking in warmth. Our high only 19. Right now, it's 21 at St. Peter's, 23 in Florissant, partly cloudy, 25 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We'll debate some of the newest Baseball Hall of Famers coming up in sports.
More news now at 6:43. There have been mixed reviews about AI data centers being built in Missouri. Southwest Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson tells Missouri Net affiliate KZRG in Joplin that he's all in on the data centers coming to the Show Me State.
You do not want all of our AI processing happening in countries that hate us. This is a critical moment in American history, and we need to get this right. And the rhetoric that is anti-data centers, people need to start spreading the proper information so that this negative rhetoric stops, because at the end of the day, we're going to destroy ourselves politically, just like we did during this last 20 years of this Green New scam.
Burleson contends the utility companies benefit because data centers enable full capacity use of power plants, which spreads fixed costs more evenly among all users.
Meanwhile, the city of Festus is being sued over its process creating regulations around data centers.
The lawsuit accuses city officials of predetermining the outcome of the public engagement process regarding ordinances and zoning, along with the annexation of property for the purpose of developing a large-scale data center. It accuses Festus City Council members of violating the Sunshine Law by holding illegal closed meetings and using the city administrator as a middleman to relay information amongst themselves to circumvent establishing a quorum. The lawsuit accuses city officials of discussing how to manage opposition and limit dissenting voices. The lawsuit is filed by Jesse Cordova, a candidate for city councilor. He said in a statement to KMOX, this is about the Sunshine Law violations and declined to elaborate. City Administrator Greg Camp says they are declining to comment at this time. Outside Festus City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
By a wide margin, the Madison County Board voted Wednesday night to defeat a resolution that would have set up a day of unity in the county in honor of Minnesota shooting victim Renee Nicole Good. Some supporters in the audience shouted the word shame after the vote was taken.
Two board members who spoke said while they consider Good's death to be a tragedy, the video they've seen of the encounter Good had with law enforcement showed a lack of respect for officers.
Across the river in Missouri, House Speaker Pro Tem Chad Perkins wants to protect drivers who hit protesters in the street. The Republican from Bowling Green says the proposal is not tied to the recent Minnesota incident where an ICE officer fatally shot Renee Good during a traffic stop.
That's a very different situation in the aspect that she was, in my opinion, impeding law enforcement from doing their job, a whole different situation. And so I think it's really designed to keep citizenry from closing down traffic.
Perkins says feedback has been limited so far, which he chalks up to the legislative session only now getting underway.
Tuesday, the newest Baseball Hall of Famers were announced, with one-time Cardinal Carlos Beltran joining longtime Atlanta Braves outfielder Andrew Jones in the 2026 class. They'll be enshrined later this summer in Cooperstown. On the Gas House Gang yesterday, Tom Ackerman wondered if Andrew Jones is in the Hall of Fame. Should there be more consideration for former Cardinals center fielder Jim Edmonds? He talked it over with Chris Ranji, and they compared the two center fielders' career numbers.
I mean, it's scary, actually, how similar they are. And Edmonds has got him in hits, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS plus. He's just shy of him, looks like 41 home runs shy of him, and about 90 RBIs shy of Andrew Jones, and 2 Gold Gloves shy, 10-8.
Yeah,
it's very close.
Those numbers are maybe Jones is in just because you can make the argument he's the best defensive center fielder ever. I mean, the guy he was unbelievable in that regard. In wins above replacement, there were only a couple of seasons where he was, or there were a couple of seasons where he was like barely behind A-Rod, who was one of the best players in the game and probably should be a Hall of Famer, but the PED stuff keeps him out, right? I don't know that you would necessarily say, well, if Andrew Jones is in, then obviously Jim Edmonds is in. I don't know that that's the I don't know that that's the comparison you make. I think you could just say Edmonds probably should be in the Hall of Fame or has a really good case for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you say because Jones is in, therefore Jim should be in too.
As far as wins above replacement or WAR, Andrew Jones at 62.7 for his career, Jim Edmonds at 60.4. The entire conversation is available at KMOX.com. Big trade yesterday. The Milwaukee Brewers sent right-handed ace Freddie Peralta to the Mets last night. He goes along with right-handed reliever Tobias Myers in exchange for right-hander Brandon Sproat and a minor league prospect, Jet Williams. He can play on the infield or the outfield. Next sports update comes up at 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It looks like winter finally has arrived. It's really nice weather we were getting Been nice if we kept it all the way through, but it's time for your furnaces to start breaking. If it happens to you, please give me a call, and we'll get somebody right out there and get your heat real fast. If you choose, it makes more sense to replace your furnace. We can do that next day. So if you need service, give me a call. Bart Inman. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number. 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois. Only one number. 314-293-2600. Or go online at bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Two legendary bands, one massive night of classic rock. Performing the songs that defined a generation. You're as cold as ice. And Leonard Skinner, bringing Southern rock anthems to St. Louis. Foreigner, Leonard Skinner, coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:50 and time for us to check the roadways and the weather. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got our initial trouble spot, Debbie, on eastbound 44. That tractor-trailer incident east of 109. Still only the two left lanes are open. Traffic is jammed west of Six Flags on eastbound 44. Miles of traffic backed up in the area there because of it. So they're trying to get it wrapped up, but not as of yet. And we have this guardrail situation sticking out in the roadway. One vehicle struck it at least. So eastbound 70 back to seeing a jam approaching Wright City to a point just east of there where they're working to push that guardrail back into place. Southbound 61, really not that bad on to 64. Did a little busy around Wentzel Parkway, a little slow approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Northbound 270, a couple of spots, 55 to Tesson Ferry through Gravois and around Manchester, where it's a little slow. Again, not that bad. Northbound 55, Bales up to River to Pear Heavy. It looks like train was crossing Route 3. We have backed up traffic. Queenie headed up to the Poplar Street Bridge, and westbound 64 3rd Street to the bridge is a little slow as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, today is the day to get out and get supplies if you need them for the weather this weekend. For today, we're going to have sunny skies, a high around 40. It's going to get very cold tonight, an overnight low of 7 with real field temperatures from 5 to 15 below. And then tomorrow, as we start the day, mostly cloudy, breezy, bitterly cold with a high of 12. Right now, we have clear skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. The winter blast that's heading our way over the weekend is no joke. CBS meteorologist Craig Allen says there will be a walloping area of snow and ice practically from coast to coast.
Before the storm leaves, there will be about 2/3 of the nation being put into a dangerous freeze. So the storm is going to pull down even colder air, and that's going to make it very, very tough to recover and to repair things that will be causing or will have been caused by damage from the storm.
Airlines keeping an eye on the winter storm. Delta, United, and American Airlines have issued travel advisories that cover dozens of airports across the southern and eastern U.S. The carriers have waived change fees for affected passengers. Analysts say January passenger loads are typically light, and the airline should not have a hard time finding room for passengers who do want to avoid the snow and ice.
We've reported that violent crime is down in the city of St. Louis. Now we can say there was a record drop in homicides across the U.S. last year.
The Independent Council on Criminal Justice collected data from 35 cities and found the homicide rate dropped 21% from a year earlier. Last year's murder rate may have been the lowest since 1900. Assaults, carjackings, and shoplifting were also down. New York recorded the lowest number of shootings in its history, with homicides down 20%. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
These are not incremental gains. They're historic outcomes.
The council's report says it's too early to tell what prompted the drops in crime. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Running marathons after age 65 is becoming more common across the United States. As KCBS's David Welch reports, it's good exercise, but your body needs a different approach.
Dr. Robert Need, chief of sports medicine with Kaiser Permanente San Francisco, says most older runners have been at it for decades.
Most of the folks that I see who are running over, say, age 65 have been running for a long time. I don't see that many people who pick up running at that age.
Buddy says even seasoned runners have bodies that change. Recovery in general takes longer.
You don't recover in the same way. So if you've been used to run, that's kind of what I do. What you find is you just can't do that every day.
Need says cross-training becomes essential and warming up before runs matters more than it used to.
5 to 10 minutes of walking briskly maybe before you start running, and then afterwards doing a cool down that includes some stretching.
David Welch, KCBS.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
And today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Thursday, January 22nd, include singer Steve Perry. He is 77 years old today. Actor Linda Blair, 67. DJ Jazzy Jeff, 61 years old. Rapper Logic is 36. And WNBA point guard Caitlin Clark, 24.
Wow. If you have a birthday or anniversary you would like in this segment, email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Judy Bugger. Happy 94th to Melba Mahalik. Ryan Kennedy is celebrating today, and happy 16th birthday to Jake Baker from Grandma, Grandpa, and family.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty, warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And it would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel-and-eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
It's 2026 and it's time to get your home zero resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMWX special. ZeroResSTL.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the audiologycenterstl.com.
Let's get a check of the roadways right now from Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, our initial problem is still with us on 44, Debbie. We still have no change. Well, they did improve things earlier. It was only the left lane was open for quite a while. Now they have the 2 left lanes open, but there's still a jam back west of Six Flags on eastbound 44. Again, this incident involving a tractor-trailer fire from the overnight hours was about midway between 109 and the Merrimack River. So you're jammed, like I said, west of Six Flags. So pay attention as you come over the crest of that hill coming down towards Six Flags, because folks are hitting the brakes pretty quickly there. We don't want somebody running into the back of that jam. They took care of that guardrail situation on 70 east of Wright City. Still a little bit of a backup through that area, but it ought to thin out pretty quickly now that they've cleared that, gotten it out of your way. Eastbound 64, a little slow past Prospect. Northbound 270, a slowdown at Gravois, and then through 64. Eastbound Gravois at Little Brendan, there's a report of a crash. They sent EMS to it. It's on the shoulder, but there are delays. We also have a crash south 170 just before 64 with lane blockage. South 170 is jammed back to the Parkway. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River to Perry. We've got the typical delays. Westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplar, slow. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This is Thursday, January 22nd. I'm Megan Lynch. Coming up on Total Information AM, preparations underway for the weekend's anticipated snow event in the St. Louis area. We'll have an update on the timing of the snowfall, as well as what road crews are thinking.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Maria Aquino with an update from St. Louis police on a killing in the Central West End.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine today through some high clouds. Our high temperature close to 40.
I'm Joe Pott. Former catcher Yadier Molina is back in the Cardinals organization, and I've got details on the reunion coming up in sports.
And coming up on CBS News, President Trump launches his Board of Peace as he prepares to meet in Switzerland with Ukraine's leader. Time at the tone now, 7 o'clock.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is wrapping up his one-day stop at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland with a last-minute add-on meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. The discussions expected to center on a peace agreement with Russia after Mr. Trump rolled out a new initiative this morning. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe is there.
Davos was the place President Trump officially launched his Board of Peace, a new body to help resolve the conflict in Gaza. On the list, 21 nations, including countries like Saudi Arabia and NATO ally Turkey. Notably absent, Israel and other Western allies like France and the United Kingdom.
A jury in Uvalde, Texas, acquitted former school police officer Adrian Gonzalez last night on charges of failing to take steps to prevent the deadly 2022 shooting at Robb Elementary School.
First things first, I want to start by thanking God for this. My family, my wife, and these guys right here. He put them in my path, and I'm just thankful for that.
Gonzalez stayed outside the school instead of confronting the gunman immediately. 19 children and 2 teachers were killed. If you live anywhere from Texas all the way up through New York, you might have to scrap your weekend plans. One of the biggest winter storms in years is on the way. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
More than 24 states currently with alerts for big snows. 35 states at least are going to be affected by this winter weather. There will be extremely dangerous ice as well.
The FCC is warning TV networks their talk shows need to give equal time to opposing political candidates.
The federal law requiring equal time exempts bona fide newscasts and interviews. The FCC says in its warning, daytime and late-night talk shows do not qualify for that exemption. The commission didn't name any specific shows, but on Truth Social,
from Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live.
President Trump posted the agency is taking aim at ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live and The View. Democratic FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez called the agency's notice an escalation in its ongoing campaign to censor and control speech. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
New findings on attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Here's CBS's Michael George.
A University College London study found that people who had ADHD traits at the age of 10 were 14% more likely to have health issues like migraines, back problems, cancer, epilepsy, or diabetes by middle age.
Health experts say they're also more likely to smoke, have a higher BMI, or face mental health issues. Dow futures are up 155. S&P futures ahead 37. NAS futures up 210. This is CBS News.
I'm Adrian Garrett. Follow and listen to The Takeout on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare?
Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-261-3377. 800-261-3377. 800-261-3377.
It is 7:04, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got cloudy skies, 23 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. In KMOX News, of course, we are looking at the weather. And let's begin with KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, who's been keeping track of the storm prediction models for us.
A developing winter storm is going to attack some freshly minted Arctic air moving into our area over the course of the weekend. It looks like the snow will break out toward daybreak on Saturday, if not a little bit earlier in the south and west suburbs. It'll be fairly light and intermittent in nature during the day Saturday. Then it picks up and becomes a little steadier for a time Saturday night before it tapers off Sunday morning to some flurries. When all is said and done, at least 3 to 6 inches of snow seems likely with this winter storm, and there's a potential for somewhat higher totals depending on the exact track of this winter storm. And through it all, it is going to be bitterly cold. Temperatures only in the low teens for highs tomorrow, Saturday, and even into Sunday.
MoDOT isn't taking any chances with the approaching weekend storm.
The Missouri Department of Transportation has shared photos on their St. Louis Facebook page of their trucks already pre-treating highways ahead of this weekend's winter weather. The move comes after an early December winter storm when MoDOT failed to pre-treat many of the highways in the region, anticipating the snowfall would not come until later that day. The lack of pre-treatment contributed to numerous crashes and extensive traffic on St. Louis area highways. The page says they are currently treating highways with a beet juice and brine mixture. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The city of St. Louis is asking residents to help them keep the streets clear by moving their cars. I'm Michael Calhoun. The streets department says it has 450 miles of snow routes to manage, and crews will hit those main arterials in the hills first. Officials warn, though, that the plows can't effectively clear those lanes if cars are still parked along the curb. The city is also telling residents that if they want to know about snow emergency rules impacting where they can park going forward, they should sign up for Notify STL alerts.
There is a storm briefing planned at 11 a.m. today at City Hall.
Meanwhile, in St. Charles, police have detained a Forestel man in connection with bronze vases stolen from cemeteries. 47-year-old Brett Stoll was arrested Wednesday, and police say he confessed to stealing those vases and is charged with felony theft over $25,000.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, you'll see more quick trips in St. Charles. There will be 3 of them within a 3-mile radius. A new location on Truman Boulevard at I-70 will feature QT's new design with a walk-up window. Now there will be locations across the interstate from each other, but according to the Business Journal, I-70 was enough of a barrier. The company decided to build one on the other side. Tulsa-based Quick Trip now has more than 60 locations in the region.
The weather is probably on your mind. It's going to be fine this morning, just a little chilly, but we've got the forecast coming your way along with a look at the roadways. Stay with us here on Total Information AM. It's 7:07.
Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10. This is Total Information AM here on KMOX with Debbie Monterrey. I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check that ride into work for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still got our big jam on eastbound 44 because of the early morning tractor-trailer fire we had east of 109. They're still doing the cleanup work. Only the two left lanes are open. Eastbound 44 is a solid jam just west of Six Flags. The jam hasn't changed a whole lot recently. MoDOT's saying it's about a 55-minute drive if you're coming in from like the Gray Summit Pacific area to get through 109 because of that jam right now. So just keep that in mind. They're working that injury crash I mentioned on eastbound 30 at Little Brennan. I believe they have the right lane blocked now. Traffic's jammed back through Dillon Road on eastbound 30 because of that one. North 270 slow past Tesson Ferry in Sappington where we had that crash on the shoulder. A little slow approaching Clayton Road. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, we've got a backup now. There's a new crash out here. It's just west of Forestell. Eastbound 70 is jammed at Wright City. They're working a crash southbound 170, the one I mentioned earlier, just before 64. The left lane is blocked there. Traffic's a solid jam back at the Forest Park Parkway. Northbound 55, just a little busy. Weber Road, River to Pear, downtown. Westbound 64, 3rd Street to the Poplars, a little slow. And westbound 64, midway down the hill from 159 to 157, looks a little heavy right now as well. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A cold weather advisory from midnight tomorrow night through noon Saturday. A winter storm watch from midnight tomorrow night through noon Sunday. Sunshine dimmed by some high clouds today. The high about 40. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Breezy and much colder by morning down to 7. With AccuWeather to real field temperatures of 5 to 15 below late tonight. Mostly cloudy, breezy, bitterly cold tomorrow. High just 12. Real field's below 0. Some snow moves in Saturday. It'll remain very cold. The high 12. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is officially cloudy and 23 degrees downtown.
I'm Joe Pott. We'll talk about Yadier Molina's return to the Cardinals straight ahead in sports.
7:12 now at KMOX. What started at a missing person case out of University City ended up being a homicide investigation in the Central West End. KMOX's Maria Kina reports 27-year-old suspect Jamal Jones is charged with first-degree murder.
St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says SLMPD officers responded to a shots-fired call at Whittier and Olive around 8:45 Tuesday night, but they did not find a victim.
District 5 officers responded to that shots-fired call. They observed a vehicle that was leaving that scene very quickly. Officers were able to stop that vehicle more than a half mile away at Boyle and Lindell.
Around 1 o'clock Wednesday morning, University City Police contacted St. Louis Police relative to a missing person. That victim's cell phone was pinging, and that's what led U City officers to Olive and Whittier, where the victim was found in an alley. Maria Akina, KMOX News.
And St. Louis Police identified the victim as 23-year-old Jardin Walker.
There's another attempt to tighten up the controversial Safety Act in Illinois.
Illinois House Republicans want to give judges more discretion to keep the accused locked up and also make all felonies eligible for detainment. Sangamon County Sheriff Paula Crouch wants to stop the revolving door.
We have a lot of repeat offenders coming back into our jails. And why is that? It's because there's no accountability for the crimes that they're committing, because they can commit a crime, they either are not detained, or in some cases, they don't even make it to the jail. They're issued a citation with a court notice to come in.
The governor and supermajority Democrats have already said they're open to tweaks in the Safety Act. At the Illinois Capitol, Dave Dahl.
A new audit raises questions about whether more lottery advertising is actually helping Missouri schools.
A report from Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick shows lottery advertising spending went up last year, while money sent to education went down. The audit notes advertising increased by about $5 million, but lottery revenue fell by more than $49 million, and transfers to education dropped more than $18 million. Fitzpatrick says lawmakers may want to reconsider how much they put toward advertising moving forward. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
The U.S. Supreme Court has said justices will take a look at the 2023 Durnell case in Missouri, where St. Louis jurors found Bayer failed to warn of their Roundup herbicide's risk and awarded a plaintiff $1.25 million.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young predicts the high court will strike the verdict and send the case back down to a lower court.
Probably another trial where evidence at the trial, the plaintiffs could not present evidence that the product manufacturer failed to comply with state labeling laws.
At issue is whether companies can be punished under state law for complying with federal warning label requirements.
It's 7:15.
Well, a fan favorite back in the fold with the Cardinals.
And a 1-1 for Yadier Molina. Swing and a bolt into the left field corner. That's going to drive home two more. And Yadi heads for second. He'll make it with an RBI double to drive in two more, and the Cardinals now have 8 runs.
Well, he won't be hitting RBI doubles, but the Cards did announce yesterday the former catcher Yadier Molina has rejoined the organization as a special assistant to President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom. Bloom said in the team press release, Yadi will provide input on our catching program, will advise our staff on catching and game planning strategy, and will give me and our front office valuable perspective from his unique vantage point. Perhaps most important, he will help us nurture in our players the high standards, attention to details, and championship mindset that are so critical to winning. Molina is the lone player in baseball history to catch 2,000 or more career games for one team, and his 2,184 games caught rank 4th overall. His 2,112 starts, 1,234 wins, in games caught, that's second behind Ivan Rodriguez, while his .99490 fielding percentage is fractionally second to A.J. Pierzynski at .99496. Molina played for the Puerto Rican team in 4 World Baseball Classics and served as manager in 2023. Plans to do it again this year. Matt Pauley talked about the move yesterday on Rush Hour Sports.
It's good to have as many smart people in the organization as possible, and nobody has ever questioned the intelligence of Yadier Molina and the baseball intelligence of him. I think Chaim Bloom, one of the big changes that we're seeing in the organization, maybe change is too strong a word, but certainly a tweak or a focus, is Chaim wants as many voices in the room as possible, and he wants a spirit of collaboration where everybody is given their thoughts and their opinions, and it's respected and considered and everything. So to bring in another voice, and that voice being Yadier Molina's voice, it's a pretty solid move for the organization.
Now, Yadi spent a few games last year in the Cardinals dugout, serving as a sort of honorary bench coach. This move obviously does not have him in the dugout. That was from Rush Hour Sports yesterday. You can hear that entire program at KMOX.com. College basketball tonight, SIUE will play host to Tennessee State. That is an 8 o'clock tip-off. That is a national TV game on ESPNU in Edwardsville at First Community Arena. Lindenwood also in action tonight as they will face Tennessee Tech. That game is in St. Charles. That is a 7:30 tip-off. Next sports update comes up at 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better, because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20, time to get the latest on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, there's still no change on 44. We still have the wrap up from the earlier tractor trailer fire during the overnight hours on eastbound 44 just east of 109. 2 left lanes are open through the area. Traffic is a solid jam back through Six Flags. MoDOT was saying it's a 55-minute trip if you're coming in from west of Pacific getting through that jam. So we'll see if that should improve, hopefully soon. Still have the backup. They work in that crash. Eastbound 30 at Little Brennan. Traffic's jammed back through Dillon Road because of that one. We had an incident eastbound 70 at Forestel. Looks like they cleared it. We had a backup through Rice City. I don't know if it was a stall or a crash, but it's out of there. They're still working the crash in the left lane, southbound 170 before 64. South 170's jammed back to Ladue now. Northbound 270, 55 up through Sappington. Slow where he had a crash on the shoulder. Eastbound 64, just a little busy at Clarkson Road. And westbound 64 from Clayton Skinker at a Hanley slow. Westbound 64 downtown. 3rd Street to the Poplar and 64 west of 159, midway down the hill to 157 still have delays. And at last check, IDOT saying that Route 50, or maybe it's Old 50, but that IDOT said it was 50 between Shattuck and Huey over east of Carlisle remains closed from a fatal crash. Investigation work scheduled to go on until about 8 a.m. now. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather is going to be challenging. Not exactly today. It's just going to be a little chilly with a high around 40 with some sunshine. And then tonight, it's going to feel as cold as 15 below. Tomorrow, high of 12, but really feeling like it's below 0. Saturday is when it all starts to turn with intermittent snow. And by the time it's all over, Sunday, we're looking at 3 to 6 inches. We'll keep you posted as this storm front moves through. Right now, though, we just have a few clouds in downtown St. Louis. It is 23 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22. A former school superintendent in Des Moines, Iowa, expected to plead guilty today to falsely claiming U.S. citizenship.
ICE agents arrested Ian Roberts after a car chase in September. He had been a teacher and school administrator in several districts across the country. Des Moines School Board Chair Jackie Norris announced the district was suing the search firm that recommended Roberts.
If we knew what we knew now, he would never have been hired.
Roberts will plead guilty to charges of making a false statement for employment and illegally possessing firearms. He faces a maximum of 20 years in prison and possible deportation. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
And there's a local connection. Roberts previously worked here for the St. Louis Public Schools from 2015 until 2018 as a network superintendent.
CBS correspondent Scott McFarland has been preparing for the day in Washington and has a preview of what to expect when Jack Smith takes center stage to talk about his criminal prosecution of Donald Trump.
It's Thursday. Indulge me for a moment. Think back to when you were in high school. Think back to the worst behaved class you were in, where all hell would break loose some days. Now imagine there's a substitute teacher in that class, and you don't know where the next outburst is coming or the next person to pipe up is going to be. Charitably, that's the way some congressional hearings can be here in Washington. They can be very high schoolish. They can be juvenile. There can be outbursts here and outbursts there, and you don't know what's coming next. That's the world Jack Smith is entering today. The former special counsel gives his first public testimony about his investigations into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election and the things that unfolded and gave rise to the U.S. Capitol insurrection. He's been spoiling to answer questions publicly. He wants to talk about his case. He believes it was righteous. He believes it was going to win, that he was going to convict Trump in front of a jury in Washington. We know some of what to expect. First of all, it's the House Judiciary Committee. Chairman is Jim Jordan of Ohio. He'll speak first. Jamie Raskin, the Democrat from Maryland, is the ranking member. He, of course, was on the House January 6th Select Committee back in the day and knows these issues cold. And there'll be alternating questions party by party. If you're looking for a very comprehensive, understandable thing to follow, don't watch a congressional hearing. They jump all over the place like that high school class. But we also know some of what Jack Smith is spoiling to say, because he did an interview, a closed-door interview with this same committee, and said at one point about Trump's role in January 6th, quote, that Trump was by a large measure the most culpable, the most responsible person in this conspiracy. The crimes were committed for his benefit. He said the attack that happened on the Capitol, which is part of the case, does not happen without him. Smith also made the argument behind closed doors, and could make it today, that the president knew what was going to happen on election night 2020 in Pennsylvania. That there was going to be that red mirage, that he was on notice ahead of time that he'd be ahead in the vote count for a period of time, and that when mail-in ballots were counted, his lead would dissipate. I'm going to argue Trump knowingly tried to conspire to overturn the election. We'll see how that testimony lands, but at a congressional hearing, it's always hard to know exactly what comes next.
It's 7:25. After years of increases, deaths from heart disease and stroke are starting to decline. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Dr. Sadia Khan at Northwestern University co-authored the annual report for the American Heart Association.
Unfortunately, heart disease continues to be the leading cause of death, but we are seeing a decline from last year and return to the pre-COVID death rates for heart disease and stroke.
And obesity rates have stabilized or declined as well. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
You are listening to Total Information AM, and one of the most extreme weather storms in years is threatening more than half the country. Nearly 200 million Americans could get hit this weekend by snow, ice, and a blast of Arctic air.
The storm has residents in Georgia surrounded by lots of trees taking precautions. David Cheek is general manager of a local tree care company, Caldwell Tree Care, and had this advice for homeowners.
Once you realize something has happened, come out cautiously, take a look around, evaluate what happened, because there could be live power lines laying on the ground. Secondly, if you hear occurrence happening outside, if you hear tree limbs breaking and snapping, treat it the same as you would if there were a tornado.
Something else to keep in mind as we get set for another winter blast. Kara Schwer with Northern Illinois utility company ComEd says, make sure your furnace's air filter is clean.
It's important to replace air filters once a month or as needed. So heating and cooling typically consumes the most energy in the average home, and dirty air filters make your furnace work harder to circulate the air. That can waste energy and can increase your bills.
We're going to tell you what MoDOT is doing to help get things ready for this storm coming up. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. It's 7:27.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's an absolute pleasure always to talk about McKelvey Homes and Jim Brennan, my great friend, the president of McKelvey Homes. They've been going since 1898, 128 years of excellence, Missouri's oldest home builder and the best. They always find the best home sites, and they have done it again with the Reserve at Wildwood, a premier development located on 50 acres at the southwest corner of State Route 109 and 100 in the heart of Wildwood. This community community will offer a stunning collection of homes from McKelvey. Designer Series, Liberty 3-car, Liberty 2-car, high-quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey is known for. The Reserve at Wildwood, more than just a place to live, it is a place to thrive. All you need to do is go to McKelveyHomes.com and you can reference all of the great homes and home sites that McKelvey Homes has to offer. Move up to McKelvey, McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply or apply. Stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
January in St. Louis isn't for hot takes. It's for people who know the game. From Cardinals spring training and NFL playoffs to the transfer portal and the Blues playoff push, the Gas House Gang breaks it all down. Ackerman, Ranji, Miklas, and Claiborne have covered it all, and they break it down the right way.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Daily at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, America's sports voice.
It is 7:30 and it's 23 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check the situation on the roads before we get to that forecast. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it just about wrapped up with this crash, Megan, on southbound 170 before 64. In fact, the MoDOT guys is picking up his cones, so another minute or so it'll be reopened. Left lane still blocked, though. South 170 just before 64. South 170 is jammed back to about Delmar right now because of it. We have an incident eastbound 70 before Jennings Station. It's backed up at Lucas Hunt. Of course, our biggest jam is still out there. The right lane's still blocked. Eastbound 44 east to 109 from the overnight semi-fire. Traffic still a solid jam back through Six Flags. MoDOT saying if you're coming in from west to Pacific, right in that vicinity, it's about a 53-minute trip, so it's a little bit better, but still significant delays, obviously, as you can see there. Northbound 55, the right lanes north of Butler Hill onto North 270 are slow, and North 270 busy up to Sappington, Doherty Ferry up to 64. Southbound Olive to Ladue on 270 is kind of heavy. Eastbound 70, a couple of pockets coming in from Forestdale to Wentzville Parkway. After that, it's a little busy at 370, aside from that jam I mentioned coming through Lucas Hunt. Southbound 61, slow at 64. Annie Guns through Clarkson. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's busy. Northbound 55 backed up. Bayless to River to Pear. Westbound 64 still slow. 159 midway down to 157 and west of 3rd Street to the Poplar. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is just going to be sunny with a high around 40. We'll have some high clouds as well. It gets very cold overnight and not much warmer tomorrow. It's going to be 12 degrees tomorrow, but it's going to feel like it's below zero. The snow starts on Saturday, intermittent snow, and we could see 3 to 6 inches of it, along with bitter cold temperatures. That means a cold weather advisory and a winter storm watch at the same time. Right now, it's just high clouds in downtown St. Louis and 23 degrees.
It's 7:32. The Missouri Department of Transportation began to pre-treat roads yesterday, well in advance of this weekend's expected snowstorm. MoDOT shared photos on their St. Louis Facebook page of trucks spreading a beet juice and brine mixture on area highways. In early December, MoDOT officials said they did not properly pre-treat highways in the St. Louis region ahead of the first winter storm, anticipating the snow would come later that day.
A tractor trailer load full of Lunchables caught fire overnight on eastbound 44 in St. Louis County. One lane of the highway was closed in Eureka near Williams Road. It's been messing up traffic most of the morning. No injuries reported.
An arrest in St. Charles with a Forestell man accused of stealing bronze vases from a cemetery. Our news partners at Fox 2 caught up with Police Lieutenant Dan Gibbons, a cemetery visitor.
That just stirs up a lot of emotion with people, rightfully so.
That's pretty low. I mean, why would you come to a cemetery just to make money? I mean, what are you going to do? These are sacred ground.
47-year-old Brett Stowell is charged with theft of property over $25,000, which is a felony.
It's been pretty quiet on the monkey front. No new spottings in several days, and the St. Louis Police Department wants to clear something up.
I watched the news conference by the health department. And when they said that an SLMPD officer saw the monkey, I immediately looked at Sean with my jaw dropping.
That's Police Department spokesman Mitch McCoy referring to Sergeant Sean Mazzola. He adds at that news conference it was the first time they heard that a police officer had spotted the monkey.
The District 6 captain, Matt Kronowski, sent an email to the District 6 officers asking anybody who saw the monkey to come forward, and that did not happen.
McCoy says they have no evidence to support the claim that the monkey was seen by a police officer.
It's now 7:34. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
It is 7:35. This is Total Information AM, and time for your money report, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. CVS has been accused by Republican lawmakers of possibly violating antitrust laws by discouraging independent pharmacies from working with third-party competitors. CVS says the report from the House Judiciary Committee is misguided and inaccurate. Meantime, CVS and other insurers are set to address rising healthcare costs today before two congressional panels. Stocks are set for a second day of strong gains as tensions over Greenland continue to cool. The rebound follows President Trump's announcement of a framework agreement with NATO to end a days-long standoff over the territory. And Stoli is on the rocks. Vodka company Stoli Group's American business and bourbon affiliate Kentucky Owl asked a bankruptcy judge to convert their Chapter 11 restructuring to a liquidation after failing to reach an agreement with a lender. The company says it's facing mounting administrative costs and doesn't have the money to continue operating. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
Friday night, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they take on St. Bonaventure. Pre-game 4:15, tip at 4:30 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
We've got another check of the roads and the weather coming up. First, though, more news. St. Louis County Council members say the public health director's excuse for missing testimony wasn't just inconvenient. It contradicts the fiscal calendar.
The Committee of the Whole gathered to discuss the troubled animal care and control, expecting to hear from Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham. But when the meeting was called to order...
Where's Dr. Cunningham? Okay.
Cunningham's excuse that she was handling 2026 budget cuts drew immediate fire from Councilman Mark Archer. He questioned Deputy Director Malik Johnson.
You understand under this modified accrual accounting system that you're still working on the money from last year, right? 2025. Mm-hmm. So when the director says that she can't make it because of the cuts in the budget and she's there to deal with the cuts in the budget, those really haven't manifested yet, have they?
I believe the 2025 budget year ends at the end of January, correct?
Correct.
Despite the friction with the director, council members commended the shelter's new daily leadership for restoring order after a chaotic year defined by failed state inspections and a vote of no confidence.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads and if they're getting any better. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, some places they are, Megan. If you're traveling on eastbound 44, of course, we still have that big jam up coming in through Eureka, eastbound 44. Because of that early morning tractor-trailer fire we had just east of 109 between there and the Merrimack River. So you still have the cleanup going on there. It looks like the through lanes are all open now. They're just pretty much on the shoulder at the end of the Williams Road on-ramp. So they're getting closer to getting completely wrapped up. But again, still a significant jam back through Six Flags. North 270, 55 to Gravois, north of 44 all the way up to Clayton Road's busy. South 270, 364 to Ladue. Westbound 70, it looks like we have issue at David Hochul Parkway. Now it's jammed to Wentzville Parkway, and eastbound is heavy through that area. Eastbound 70 is heavy. Bryan Road into Highway K, a little backup coming out of Cool Valley and toward Lucas Hunt from an earlier incident. South 170 pockets from Olive to 64 to an earlier incident. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley slow. Westbound 64 is still slow, approaching Route 3 to the Poplar. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
All right, it is 7:42, and let's check with the expert. We've been telling you about the weather, which is not bad today. It just starts getting really cold tonight. But Joe Lundberg, our AccuWeather meteorologist, tell us all about it.
Well, it looks like a cold front will come through the area tonight, and it really is going to have the effect of dropping the hammer in terms of the cold. We'll get to 40 today with some sunshine filtered through some high clouds. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, but by morning that Arctic air is pouring in. We'll drop to 7 by sunrise tomorrow, but the real field temperatures could be as low as 15 below by daybreak tomorrow. Doesn't warm up at all tomorrow. Clouds win out. Our high only 12, and with the breeze, real fields remain below zero. Then we look at the storm coming out of the southern Rockies and working its way well to our south, skirting the cold air, but there's no doubt about it. It's going to snow, and it probably comes in two pieces. The first piece Saturday during the day, fairly light in nature, but that's going to make for deteriorating travel conditions because it's going to be so cold at 12. Second piece comes through Saturday night and into Sunday morning. That's when we'll get the bulk of our snow, totaling up to 3 to 6 inches. There could be some higher amounts, especially south and east of the city, depending on the exact track of this winter storm. Sunday's high 15 with the snow moving out for the afternoon. Monday, some sun returns, but it stays cold. Temperatures stay in the upper teens. Right now, it's 21 at St. Peter's, 23 in Florissant, partly sunny, 25 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. Should Jim Edmonds be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? We'll talk about that coming up in sports.
7:44. More now on the potential sale of Six Flags St. Louis, while trademark filings for Enchanted Parks suggest a deal is in the works. KMOX told you last week the buyer specializes in water parks, not theme parks.
That fueled rumors Six Flags might try to sell just Hurricane Harbor, but on the Green Tag podcast, Scott Swinson says that's easier said than done. He's a former executive with Busch Entertainment back when AB owned SeaWorld and Busch Gardens.
So to have it as a separate entity, but on the same footprint seems odd. Like I think of Six Flags Great America, their water park is literally almost it's surrounded on three sides by the rest of the park. I'm just curious to see if that would ever play into the situation.
In Kansas City, the parks are built to be separate. In St. Louis, they weren't. Currently, Hurricane Harbor here shares the main gate. Even though it sits on one side of the park, separating it would require new fences, new entrance, and a divided parking lot. Swinson says that could make a sale a major headache. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The FCC is warning TV networks their talk shows need to give equal time to opposing political candidates.
The federal law requiring equal time exempts bona fide newscasts and interviews. The FCC says in its warning, daytime and late-night talk shows do not qualify for that exemption. The commission didn't name any specific shows, but on Truth Social,
From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live.
President Trump posted the agency is taking aim at ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live and The View. Democratic FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez called the agency's notice an escalation in its ongoing campaign to censor and control speech. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Tuesday, the new Baseball Hall of Famers were announced, with one-time Cardinal Carlos Beltran joining longtime Atlanta Braves outfielder Andrew Jones in the 2026 class. They'll be enshrined later this summer in Cooperstown. Tom Ackerman wondered if Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer, should Jim Edmonds be a Hall of Famer? He talked it over with Chris Ranji and compared the two careers yesterday on the Gas House Gang.
I mean, it's scary actually how similar they are. And Edmonds has got him in hits, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS plus. He's just shy of him, looks like 41 home runs shy of him, and about 90 RBIs shy of Andrew Jones, and 2 Gold Gloves shy, 10-8.
Yeah,
it's very close.
Those numbers are maybe Jones is in just because you can make the argument he's the best defensive center fielder ever. I mean, the guy was unbelievable in that regard. In wins above replacement, there were a couple of seasons where he was like barely behind A-Rod, who was one of the best players in the game and probably should be a Hall of Famer, but the PED stuff keeps him out, right? I don't know that you would necessarily say, well, if Andrew Jones is in, then obviously Jim Edmonds is in. I don't know that that's the I don't know that that's the comparison you make. I think you could just say Edmonds probably should be in the Hall of Fame or has a really good case for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you say because Jones is in, therefore Jim should be in too.
As far as wins above replacement or WAR, Andrew Jones at 62.7 for his career. Jim Edmonds at 60.4. That entire conversation and the show is at KMOX.com. Well, yesterday, the Mets held their press conference officially introducing Bo Bichette, who had signed a 3-year, $126 million deal. Hours later, they traded for Brewers right-hander Freddie Peralta. He goes to the Mets along with right-handed reliever Tobias Myers in exchange for right-hander Brandon Sproat and a minor league prospect Jet Williams, who could play the infield or the outfield. The Yankees as well, they announced that they had re-signed Cody Bellinger, a 5-year deal worth $162.5 million. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss of the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
Hey guys, it's Dave. You know that saying, new year, new you? Well, how about new year, new home upgrade? Right now, when you buy 4 windows from Universal Windows Direct, you get 4 free. That's one of the biggest offers they've ever done. And with 0% interest financing for 60 months, you can spread out your payments over 5 years, same as cash without a penny of interest. But there's more. You'll get $1,000 off your entire project, plus little something to look forward to, a vacation voucher through Destination Motivation with every purchase. Call 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com.
St. Louis, are you ready to go Hardy?
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
The country rock hitmaker behind Truck Bed. Wait in the truck and one beer. He's bringing his No Holds Barred live show to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 5th. With special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Hardy, live, loud, and unapologetic. One night only. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:50. Let's see where things have hangups. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, I've been sort of watching this 44 situation at 109. I mentioned that it looked like it was really just everything restricted to the ramp now coming on from Williams Road, but it looks like they have, as I see little gaps in the traffic, it looks like they still have the right lane blocked as you approach it because of the restrictions on the ramp from Williams Road. They keep that right lane blocked as you approach it so that traffic can safely merge onto the highway. So the net result is the 2 left through lanes are still all that are getting through, and we still have a jam back to Six Flags. Earlier, MoDOT was saying it was a 50-plus minute trip through the area, so I would plan on that still if you're headed that way. We still have a jam eastbound 30 past Dillon Road into almost New Sugar Creek, due to a earlier crash. Northbound 270, 55 through Gravois, 44 up to Ladou's busy. South 270, 364 to Ladou's heavy. Westbound 70 jammed. West of Wentzville Parkway into David Hokel Parkway. Eastbound slow through there. It's slow from Lake St. Louis in through Bryan Road. It's slow east of 94 into 270 and some slow stuff around Lucas Hunt. Southbound 170, a little busy. Olive Delmar and then Ladue to 64. Eastbound 64 coming in from Boone's Crossing to almost 141. And then Lindbergh through the Interbell. Westbound 64 Hampton most of the way to Hanley. And then Clayton Morrison out to Palace is slow. 55 from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. And westbound 64 west of the 70 split to the Poplar still heavy. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Right now, we're looking at temperatures that are decent. We're going to have a high around 40 degrees today with sunshine, but it starts getting really cold tonight, a low of 7, but it's going to feel as cold as 15 below. Tomorrow, a high of 12, but again, it's going to feel like it's below 0. And then the snow starts on Saturday, and we'll keep you posted on that all day long and tomorrow as well. Currently, we do have some sunshine and high clouds. It's 23 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
news now at 7:52. Arctic air from Canada approaching the United States, and with it, the potential for a dangerous winter storm that could impact approximately 180 million people from Texas to New York. CBS's Asher Karishi says even places that don't usually experience extremely cold temperatures are getting ready.
Even as far south as Texas, officials are preparing for hazardous roads and power outages while people stock up at the grocery store.
We may not be able to get out and get anything for a couple, 3 days till it thaws out. So we wanted to be sure we had everything we needed.
Here locally, St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer has called an 11 o'clock news conference to discuss the city's plans for the storm.
We're learning about steep declines in the homicide rates in many U.S. cities.
A report by the Council on Criminal Justice shows a 21% decrease in homicides last year from 2024 in 35 U.S. cities. According to the report, homicides declined in 31 of the cities, resulting in nearly 1,000 fewer in 2025 than the previous year. But experts say it's too early to say why the declines are happening or how long they will last. The report tracked 13 crimes and recorded drops last year in 11 of those categories, including carjackings, shoplifting, and aggravated assaults. I'm Mike Hempen.
The state of Maine, the latest target of the Trump administration's immigration operations.
The state of Maine has relatively few residents who are in the U.S. illegally, but in its largest cities, it does have a notable presence of refugees, and that's put it in the crosshairs of the Department of Homeland Security.
People are afraid. They are scared.
Pius Ali, Portland City Councilor.
Imagine you are a parent and you step out to put your kid in a school bus. By the time you turn around, you are surrounded by ICE agents.
Mark Dion is the mayor of Portland, which has thousands of residents of African descent.
While we respect the law, we challenge the need for a paramilitary approach to the enforcement of federal statutes.
ICE says it has about 1,400 targets in Maine and had made 50 arrests by Tuesday. I'm Ben Thomas.
The Golden Raspberry, or Razzie, nominations are out. They are the tongue-in-cheek poke at Hollywood's worst.
The live-action Snow White
Father told me long ago.
and War of the Worlds lead the field with 6 nominations, including Worst Picture. Keeping it in the family,
Do not judge a book by its cover.
Sylvester Stallone and his daughter are up for Worst Supporting Actor Razzies. One of the Snow White nominations, all 7 artificial dwarfs are up for Worst Supporting Actor. Previous Oscar winners Natalie Portman and Jared Leto are up for Razzies. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Take it easy and go quadruple diamond. The Eagles' 1976 album, their greatest hits 1971 to 75, the best-selling album of all time in the U.S. It has officially sold more than 40 million units. That's according to new certification from the Recording Industry Association of America. The second, that's Michael Jackson's Thriller. The RIAA tracks U.S. sales and streaming equivalents. Certifications must be applied for and go through a third-party audit.
It is 7:56.
Extreme cold weather coming in through St. Louis this mid-January probably. If you're having issues with your furnace, give me a call. If you were told you need a new furnace, without a question, give me a call. You'll be happy you did. We're all the same when it comes to like buying a furnace and air conditioner, just like with pretty much anything else. If you're like me, I want a furnace that heats, and in the heat of summer, I want an air conditioner that works. Pretty much simple. So is a more high efficient air conditioner or more high efficient furnace give me more heat, more cooling? No, it doesn't at all. It gives you the exact same. So with that being said, you need to call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or you can do the online thing, and it's Bart Inman, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Let's check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, our one jam we had to start the morning is still with us, Debbie. It's backed up. In fact, it looks like we have another crash now on eastbound 44. The original problem was the tractor-trailer fire from overnight east of 109. Still have, looks like the right lane blocked, so traffic can merge on from Williams Road. You're jammed midway back to Six Flags. That's only because there's a crash just east of Six Flags now blocking, so it's sort of broken up that jam. The end result is you still have a significant backup there. Northbound 270 approaching Gravois all the way to Ladou's busy. South 270 Dorset to Ladou's slow. South 170 pockets from Olive down to 64. Westbound 64 Hampton headed all the way out to Hanley's heavy. Clayton Warson out through Spady's a little slow. Coming eastbound on 64. Annie Guns all the way to Timberlake, and then from east of Ballas, it's heavy all the way in through the Big Bend area. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, you've got some slow traffic running from the Blanchette Bridge into 270. Still a little busy Bermuda in through Jennings Station. We had some earlier incidents there as well. Westbound 70, I think it's road work, but we're backed up from Wentzville most of the way to David Holcomb Parkway, and that's a pretty solid jam going that route. Coming in on northbound 55, you still got heavy traffic from Bayless up across River to Pear. Downtown westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplars still slow. And I'm still seeing a bit of a backup eastbound 30 coming in to that New Sugar Creek area, or Little Brennan rather, from that earlier crash. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Oscar nominations are out.
No ghosts, no magic. Till now.
Ryan Coogler's Sinners leads the pack with 16 nods. That breaks the old record of 14, first set 75 years ago. One battle after another, scooped up 13.
My child comes from a whole line of revolutionaries. And you look so lost.
Hamnet among the 10 Best Picture nominees.
You touched me. What did you see? I saw a landscape.
As well as lead actress for Jessie Buckley, her co-star Paul Mescal, snubbed along with Wicked for Good and its stars. The Oscars will be handed out March 15th. President Trump spent his last few hours at the World Economic Forum in Davos with a focus on peace. He inaugurated a board of peace.
And to each and every one of you, we are truly honored by your presence today. Leaders of countries, in most cases, very popular leaders. Some cases, not so popular. But that's the way it goes.
He met with Volodymyr Zelensky on ending the war with Russia and warned Hamas it must disarm. A massive winter storm is set to tear through state rates from Texas through New York with snow, ice, and frigid temperatures. Meteorologist Craig Allen is keeping an eye on the Northeast.
Especially north of Interstate 78. This is going to be all snow, and there's the potential of at least 6, if not up to 12 inches of snow.
Utilities are bracing for the possibility of massive outages and airports for flight cancellations. The special prosecutor who brought 2 federal indictments against President Trump is scheduled to testify before the House Judiciary Committee today. Jack Smith investigated the president for classified documents at Mar-a-Lago and attempts to overturn the 2020 election. CBS's Torian Small.
What we're likely to see is Jack Smith vehemently defend his handling of this, while Republicans are looking to paint the picture that Smith painted the president as his target and went after him unfairly.
Health officials in Nashville investigating a rare fungal infection that's growing more deadly.
At least one person has died of the rare respiratory infection histoplasmosis, which is caused by breathing in spores of a fungus commonly found in the soil in Middle Tennessee. 35 other people have been sickened. Some of them, like teenager Cammie Carpenter, suspect a large construction site in Spring Hill.
I did try to go on walks, and I don't know if I was walking in the fungus.
State health officials say they're looking at construction sites as a factor, but have not pinpointed the source of the outbreak.
This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have mostly cloudy skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, January 22nd. I'm Megan Lynch. First the cold, then the snow. Here's KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with what the latest forecast models say for our region this weekend.
Two things are going to conspire against us over the next 3 days. One of them is an Arctic air mass that's going to come blasting into the area starting later tonight. That's going to drop temperatures into the single digits by morning and stay in the low teens tomorrow. The other part of it is a storm that'll be brewing over the course of the next 48 hours. It will cut to our south and east, and with all this Arctic air in place, we don't have to worry about the form of precipitation, just the timing and how much. Looks like there'll be a couple of pieces of this winter system. One will come in on Saturday with some intermittent light snow. Then it gets a little steadier with the second piece coming through Saturday night, lasting into early Sunday before moving away. The most probable accumulation is 3 to 6 inches, and higher amounts are in play depending on the exact track of the storm. And behind it, it stays unusually cold right into the beginning of next week.
I'm Michael Calhoun. The city of St. Louis says it is shifting into emergency mode to handle the incoming weather. SEMA Commissioner Greg Favor says now is the time for residents to finalize their preparations, urging people to stock up on those supplies and check their HVAC systems right away. Meantime, the Streets Department is already beginning to pre-treat the snow routes, and Commissioner Ken Flake says crews are getting ready to work around the clock, but he is asking drivers to avoid parking on the snow routes so that the plows can get through.
Airlines keeping an eye on the winter storm. Delta, United, and American have issued travel advisories that cover dozens of airports across the southern and eastern U.S. The carriers have waived change fees for affected passengers. Analysts say January passenger loads are typically light, and the airlines should not have a hard time finding room for passengers who do want to avoid the snow and ice.
Officers were responding to that shots fired call. As they were responding, they saw the vehicle that was leaving very quickly, and then that's when the traffic stop was conducted.
St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy on a shooting that led to a man's death in the Central West End.
But when St. Louis police stopped the fleeing car, they did not know 27-year-old Jamal Jones had allegedly shot someone. It wasn't until 1 o'clock Wednesday morning when University City Police advised SLMPD that a missing person's cell phone was pinging in the area of Whittier and Olive, the same place where the earlier shots fired call came from.
All information that we have now indicates that the victim and suspect, everybody knows each other in some fashion here, and that he was there on unrelated business.
McCoy says investigators believe the shots fired call and subsequent killing are related. Jamal Jones is facing first-degree murder charges. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
St. Louis police have identified the victim as 23-year-old Jardin Walker. A Republican lawmaker from Northeast Missouri's Bowling Green pushing a bill to protect drivers who hit protesters blocking the road. House Speaker Pro Tem Chad Perkins says the proposal draws a clear line between intentional harm and legitimate self-defense.
It covers those civil issues. If you've committed a crime, that's a whole different issue, right? You're not necessarily looking to sue someone. You're looking to put that person in prison if they intentionally ran into you. And that's a key distinction, I think, that needs to be made.
Perkins says the bill is also designed to keep people from shutting down traffic. Missouri's Durnell case against Bayer set for review before the federal Supreme Court adjourns in June.
Bayer CEO Bill Anderson issued a statement in regards to the Roundup product decision from 2023 in St. Louis Circuit Court and the legal battle that continues. It reads in part, "It is time for the U.S. legal system to establish that companies should not be punished under state laws for complying with federal warning label requirements." Here's KMOX legal analyst Brad Young.
I see this as a situation where the court will, in all likelihood, strike many of these verdicts because they were based on state labeling requirements that were in excess of what was required by federal law.
Young predicts the matter could be bounced back to a trial court. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
After years of increases, deaths from heart disease and stroke are starting to decline. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
Dr. Sadia Khan at Northwestern University co-authored the annual report for the American Heart Association.
Unfortunately, heart disease continues to be the leading cause of death, but we are seeing a decline from last year and return to the pre-COVID death rates for heart disease and stroke.
And obesity rates have stabilized or declined as well. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the bankruptcy filing of Saks Global could have a major impact on a Clayton-based company, Caleres. The parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus carries Stuart Weitzman shoes, a high-end brand that Caleres acquired last fall. The CEO of Caleres says they're still evaluating the full impact of that bankruptcy, but warned of possible volatility in fourth quarter earnings. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
John Pertzborn here, and I've come to respect the good works of Hardy's Rise and Shine for Heat benefit, supporting heatupstlouis.org, where 100% of the proceeds help families and seniors with Missouri and Illinois utilities. It's Friday, February 13th, your lucky day. Volunteer now or pre-order sacks of sausage or egg biscuits only at heatupstlouis.org. Put the biscuits down, gentry.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Coming up on Total Information AM, would eliminating Missouri's income tax help everyone? I'll ask a WashU tax law expert coming up. First, though, let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing better on 44, Megan, eastbound, but we still have a jam. And the jam is just east of Six Flags into 109, but all lanes are open. Well, midway between 109 and the Merrimack, really. But MoDOT's saying it's only about a 22-minute drive through that area from Pacific instead of 50-some minutes. So it's less than half that now. So not terrible, but of course still much heavier than you would normally see through that stretch. Also doing better on eastbound 30 into Little Brendan from that earlier crash. Northbound 270 still busy. 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270. 364 midway down to Olive, and then through the Ladue area, still kind of busy. Eastbound 70, Bryan Road in toward Highway K is a little backed up. If you're on eastbound 64, still some slow traffic from Andy Guns to about Clarkson, and from 270 all the way in through 170, south 170 bogs down at Olive, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's heavy, northbound 55, Bales up to River to Pear is slow, just a little slow down at the Poplar on westbound 64 now. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather cold weather advisory for midnight tomorrow night through noon Saturday. There's also a winter storm watch from midnight tomorrow night through noon Sunday. Sunshine filtered through some high clouds today, the high 40. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. It will become breezy and much colder by morning, low 7, with AccuWeather real field temperatures dropping to 5 to 15 below. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and bitterly cold, the high only 12 above, with real fields below 0. Saturday, cloudy, frigid with some snow. Expect deteriorating travel conditions, the high 12. That snow will continue into early Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Looking at those temperatures right now, it's 25 in Florissant, 20 in St. Peter's, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. In his recent State of the State address, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe formally proposed eliminating the state's income tax. The governor wants the legislature to send the matter to voters to decide whether to phase income tax out over 5 years. Kehoe wants to replace it with taxes on some services. Let's get some insight from an expert on tax law now at Washington University in St. Louis. Sarah Narkowitz is director of the Low Income Taxpayer Clinic at the School of Law. Good morning and welcome to KMOX.
Good morning.
Are there benefits to eliminating state income taxes?
Well, certainly this is not a black and white issue. There are benefits to eliminating them. The hope, I think, is that if you eliminate state income taxes, you will bring more people to Missouri who will, pay other taxes, and you'll bring more businesses to the state of Missouri. But there's also hidden costs.
What are some of those downsides?
So, as you mentioned, we would start taxing services from a sales tax perspective. So there's only so many ways that the state can generate revenue. And right now, the biggest way they do that is through individual income tax. That's like 60 to 70% of the general state revenues. We also have state taxes from sales taxes, and that's at a rate of about 4.225%. And right now, we only tax, for the most part, tangible personal property. So if I go to Target, I buy a coat, I pay sales tax on that. But if I go get my hair cut, I don't pay sales tax on that. So in order to generate this lost revenue, we would have to do two things. We would have to increase that base, and we would have to increase the things that would be taxable, and that would be services. So if you go to your lawyer, you would be paying tax on your legal services. If you go to your hairdresser, you'd be paying tax on that.
Do you feel like we have a good grasp right now on how this could potentially impact the state budget? You mentioned some of those revenue figures.
Yeah, I think it's unknown. Missouri would be potentially the 10th state to not have a state income tax. And we can look at the other 9 states and kind of get some guidance, but they're in a very different position than Missouri. So a lot of these states are states that are really rich in natural resources, like Alaska, that can generate revenue that way. Or we have really heavily states with heavy tourism industries, like Nevada or Florida. So Missouri is sort of an unknown because we don't have those rich resources. We're not a really big tourism state, and it's just not as clear that we'd be able to generate revenue as efficiently as the other states that have this system. It's going to have positives and negatives. Overall, it will generally benefit higher income people more than lower income people.
Could you explain that in more detail? Because I know you've done an analysis of this.
Sure. So income tax is generally what you would consider a progressive tax. The more you make, the more you pay in tax. Sales tax is a regressive tax, which means that if I make a lesser amount of income, I still have to buy goods. I have to eat, I have to buy clothing, etc. And so those sorts of taxes take up a bigger percentage of your income if you're lower income.
One of the things that I have heard about this is that it would help attract new residents. In fact, we had some stories on this morning about how, for example, the cost of gasoline is lower in Missouri traditionally than it is in Missouri, and that's forcing some people to move across the river. Would we see a boost from people that like that message of no income tax?
I think you would see a boost. I'm not clear that boost would be enough to make up for the decline in revenue for the state. And Missouri is already a fairly high income tax state. There's a 4.225% state portion, but then we have local portions too. So, for example, in Clayton, if you go buy something in Clayton, you're paying 9.5% in sales tax already. So if Missouri were to raise their state portion from 4 to 7 to 10, whatever it ends up being, you could pay 15% going to buy something at the store. So it seems really good on the surface, and for some people it would be really good, but there are definitely hidden costs for some people who aren't considering that.
Sarah, as lawmakers consider this and whether to put it on the ballot in the state of Missouri, what are some of the things that you want them to think about?
Well, just where the money's coming from, right? Because the state is really vital in providing our daily services that we count on. Our state roads, our state police, our prison system, our higher education. And after the pandemic, states were pretty flush with cash because the federal government had a lot of money and it was distributing it. But at this point, states are feeling the pinch, right? So ultimately, it's a trade-off. You either have to come up with the money somewhere else or you have to cut services. So I think they should really consider what services would have to be cut and who would be impacted.
So for voters, if this does get on the ballot, what are the things you want them to consider for themselves as they consider this?
Well, I think what I would consider is how it would impact my life. And I think there's a psychological impact to income tax that doesn't exist with sales tax. When I'm looking at income tax, I'm looking at that big chunk I have to pay at the end of the year, or I'm looking at my paycheck and seeing it come out steadily. Whereas when I'm looking at sales tax, I'm like, oh, I'm buying something, it's not that big a deal. But if you count up all the cumulative effects of all the things you buy over the year, it may actually be more than the income tax you're paying. Every person is going to be different, but I think it's just something you have to consider for yourself.
Sarah, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insights on this morning.
Thank you, Megan.
That is Sarah Narkowitz. She is director of the Low Income Taxpayer Clinic at the WashU School of Law. Coming up this morning on Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey is going to tell us about a new fund to help at-risk renters, and that could actually benefit some individuals who were victims of those spring storms. We'll also get a preview of the St. Louis Auto Show, and KMOX auto expert Greg Damon will join us at the bottom of the hour to tell us what his customers want from the auto industry. Plus, we'll look at the fact that today is the day that the U.S. pulls out of the World Health Organization. It's now 8:19. Let's get a check of the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. And Roger, it has not been an easy morning out there.
No, certainly not, Megan, especially for 44 drivers. And we still have this jam eastbound 44. It's a little bit better, but it's still east of Six Flags to east of 109, midway between 109 and the Merrimack. It opens up, and then it's a little slow approaching 141. It's from that early morning tractor trailer fire, which, by the way, is still on Williams Road. They moved everything off the highway there alongside it, so I'm not really sure if people are still slowing for a look at it or not, but the jam remains. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up to Ladou's busy. South 270, not that bad, a little slow between Olive and Ladue. Eastbound 64, passing Andy Guns coming out of the valley to about Timberlake's heavy. There's still pockets east of Ballast through the Interbelt. South 170 approaching Olive down to Bott Ladue is heavy. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley slow. 55 just a little busy at Weber downtown. Westbound 64 has cleared out, headed across the Poplar Street Bridge. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. I know everybody is waiting to see what the weather's going to do. Here's what we know so far. Of course, we are heading into a cold weather advisory and a winter storm watch at midnight tomorrow, and that runs through Saturday and Sunday. Sunshine today. We'll have some high clouds with a high around 40. Tonight, it gets much colder, an overnight low of 7, and that's going to push the real field temperatures down to 5 to 15 below zero. Tomorrow, cloudy, breezy, very cold. A high only around 12 degrees, and that's going to mean the real fields are going to be below zero. For Saturday, cloudy and frigid with intermittent snow, and the travel conditions are going to deteriorate because we're going to see snow Saturday night into Sunday morning, tapering to flurries before ending Sunday. We could see 3 to 6 inches of snow, and it just depends on where you're at and where the storm tracks at this point. Sunday's high, we're only expecting around 15 degrees. Monday, sunny, but it's still going to be very cold with a high only 19. Right now, we have some sunshine, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Gantner and Capriano, how's your family? Do you have a legal plan for them when you're gone? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Swing and a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Among those voices, Dan Deerdorf.
Good football town with a lot of good football fans, and they deserve better than to have both of our teams lead.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering. so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
There is a fund that could help renters who are at risk of homelessness. We get more about this new program from Ella Gross, who is the Home Screen Program Manager at Tower Grove Community Development Corporation. Ella, explain a little first, what is Arch by Home Screen Damage Mitigation Fund?
Hi, Debbie. Yes, we at Tower Grove CDC have operated a program called Arch by Home Screen since 2021, and ARCH is an acronym for At-Risk Renters Connection to Housing. And since 2021, we've partnered with over 100 different nonprofit organizations in the area, ranging from homeless response organizations, mental health, behavioral health supports, school systems, and other youth organizations. And we've also formed partnerships with about 400 different landlords across the metro region who list their available rental properties exclusively to these nonprofit organizations through Arch by Home Screen. So we have helped over 200 families find and secure housing through this program. And this month we are announcing an additional incentive fund that you mentioned called the Damage Mitigation Fund, which helps landlords choose to participate in this program. If they accept a application from a renter that comes through one of the nonprofit organizations that we work with, the landlord will qualify can claim up to $3,000 from this fund for each person that they house, which would help cover unpaid rent or damage to the unit. So we're really excited, and we hope this gets a lot more landlords to sign up for Arch by Home Screen and accept applications from people who have been unstably housed.
So the Damage Mitigation Fund is to help renters, and Arch by Home Screen is a program for the landlords?
Correct. It's Arch by Home Screen is a program for landlords to sign up with, and then from there they will list their properties exclusively to our nonprofit partners. And those partners, when they're working with someone who is looking for affordable housing, will log into their home screen account and will be able to share those listings directly with the renter. And then we process the application the same we do with any of our applications through Home Screen. And if a landlord accepts one of these applications from one of our nonprofit partners, how they would qualify for this additional funding. So I do want to be clear that this is not rental assistance per se that's open to the public. It is only available to those landlords that we work with who house someone through our program, Arch by Home Screen. And it's just an extra layer of security for those landlords to accept those applications that might be considered higher risk, like someone with a past eviction, for example.
And when you say working with the nonprofit, so these might be people who are being referred to the program through another nonprofit in the community?
Definitely, yes. So that is a requirement of the program that they are working with one of these 100 plus organizations that we partner with. So it could be, St. Patrick's Center or the International Institute or St. Louis Public Schools. We have a very wide variety of organizations and therefore very wide variety of circumstances that people find them in where they're just looking for affordable housing all throughout the metro region.
Well, I'm sure you have no lack of need there as rents keep going up. I know times are tough for a lot of people. So glad to hear about this Arch by Home Screen Damage Mitigation Fund. Ella Gross is the Home Screen Program Manager at Tower Grove Community Development Corporation. And I'm sure if landlords or nonprofits have questions about this, they can always contact you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're hoping to partner with as many different landlords as we can. So hope everyone feels free to contact me.
All right. Thanks for telling us more about it on KMOX.
Thanks, Debbie.
It's 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Tom Ackerman, I have something for you. Genesis of St. Charles, the general manager there, Shay, I'd like you to walk in there and tell him that I sent you in. And just see what happens. They're going to set you up with someone to show you their vehicles. They may offer you a very nice cup of coffee, and they have a great coffee machine there at Genesis of St. Charles. They are number one, and they're also the number one Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri. They're the first and only standalone Genesis dealership in the state of Missouri. They're at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, right off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. You're going to love Genesis of St. Charles. Genesis vehicles are very nice. They're luxurious, and that comes with a luxurious experience. Every purchase of a Genesis from Genesis of St. Charles comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. GenesisofStCharles.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more.
8:30, time for a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling in on eastbound Highway 44, Megan, that's been the focal point this morning, and we still have a backup. It hasn't changed a whole lot. There's still a jam east of Six Flags, most of the way in through 109, between there and the Merrimack River, where we had the earlier semi-fire that created all the backup before the even daylight hours began. Northbound 270 approaching Manchester up to Ladue, that's still slow. Eastbound 64, a little busy. Chesterfield Parkway west to Clarkson, it's still bogged down from Lindbergh to at least Hanley. South 170, Olive to Delmar, and then Brentwood to 64, slow. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley, still busy. 55's cleared out at River to Perrin. Downtown, we've cleared out across the bridges. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we do kick into a cold weather and winter storm watch tomorrow night through noon, Saturday and Sunday, respectively. We'll have sunshine today, though. Some high clouds and a high around 40. So this is the day to get out and get any supplies you need for the weekend. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. It is going to turn much colder. We're expecting an overnight low of 7. Right now, we have sunshine, 26 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Today's the day the Trump administration formally pulls the United States out of the World Health Organization. Here's CBS's Steve Kathan.
It's the second time President Trump has pulled the U.S. out of the WHO. He did it in his first term in 2020, but later President Biden restored American membership. Our medical contributor, Dr. Celine Gounder.
Here's the big problem for the U.S. if we're out. We may get less speed and less visibility on outbreaks that start somewhere else because many new threats are first spotted overseas, then shared through WHO networks. That early information is what helps the U.S. move fast on things like testing and travel guidance.
Trump has suggested the U.S. could return to the organization depending on who is chosen to be the next leader of it. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Still ahead on Total Information AM, we're going to give you a preview of the St. Louis Auto Show. And then Greg Damon, our KMOX auto expert, is going to join me. We're going to talk about what he's seeing in the automotive industry. It's 8:33.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
One of the biggest consumer goods companies in the world says sales stalled last quarter. Procter & Gamble reported revenue that was weaker than Wall Street expected. The results from the maker of Pampers and Tide detergent shows that shoppers spent cautiously in the final months of 2025. Consumers were also hurt by the government shutdown. In a bid to boost growth, P&G has been cutting some prices and adjusting its package sizes to appeal to more cost-conscious shoppers. Checking in on trading, President Trump pivoting on Greenland, and that's sending stocks higher for a second day. The president dialing back his threats about acquiring the territory, and that's calming the markets. And 2/3 of the nation bracing for the severe winter storm that could cause unusually low temperatures. Natural gas futures have jumped to the highest level in 4 years and are on track for a weekly gain of more than 70%. Surging gas prices spell trouble for consumers struggling with high energy bills. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
It looks like winter finally has arrived. It's really nice weather we were getting. Nice we kept it all the way through, but it's time for your furnaces to start breaking. If it happens to you, please give me a call, and we'll get somebody right out there and get your heat real fast. If you choose, it makes more sense to replace your furnace. We can do that next day. So if you need service, give me a call. Bart Inman. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number. 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois. Only one number. 314-293-2600. Or go online at bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Two legendary bands. One massive night of classic rock. Foreigner, performing the songs that defined a generation. You're as cold as ice. And Leonard Skinner, bringing Southern rock anthems to St. Louis. Foreigner, Leonard Skinner, coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news.
Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Millions of Americans are bracing for a potentially catastrophic ice storm from New Mexico to the Carolinas. Forecasters say it could crush trees, power lines, and cause power outages for days. President Trump closed out his time at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, by gathering leaders from more than 20 countries to sign the founding charter of his Board of Peace to oversee reconstruction of Gaza. And the FCC is warning TV networks their talk shows need to give equal time to opposing political candidates. .40, we've had those problems on 44 all morning long. Let's see if that's getting any better now. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's getting better, but we still have a jam there, Megan, unfortunately. This traffic report's a service of Meadowview Memory Care. It's eastbound 44, just east of 109, where the early morning tractor-trailer fire occurred. That was in the 12 a.m. hour, actually. There's still a jam west of 109 into that point, so maybe a mile at most of it back up. I'd say less than that, though, and it is getting better. So a lot of folks have been taking alternate routes. We have some backed-up traffic on Manchester coming in through toward Old State Road and on northbound Clarkson from Wilson up to Baxter. The folks are trying to get around the 44 issue earlier, obviously. Northbound 270, Manchester up to Ladou's busy. Eastbound 64, McKnight through Hanley's heavy. South 170 bogs down at Brentwood. Westbound 64, a couple of pockets. Clayton Skinker headed out through Hanley. It looks like we have a crash in the left lane, northbound 55, just north of A. It's jammed at 67. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
Here's the rundown for the weather that we are expecting over the next few days. The cold weather advisory kicks in at midnight tomorrow night, and that runs through noon on Saturday. And then that winter storm watch from midnight tomorrow through noon on Sunday. For today, we should have sunny skies, maybe some high clouds, but a high around 40 degrees. Tonight is when we hit that cold snap, an overnight low of 7 with AccuWeather real field temperatures from 5 to 15 below overnight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, bitterly cold, a high only reaching around 12, and that means those real feels are going to remain below 0. For Saturday, cloudy and frigid, intermittent snow, and deteriorating travel conditions because we'll have snow much of the time Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's going to taper to flurries before ending Sunday afternoon. We're hearing accumulation totals of possibly 3 to 6 inches, but higher amounts are possible depending on the final track of this storm. Sunday's high should reach 15, and then for Monday, sunny skies, but still very cold, a high only 19. Right now, we do have some sunshine, 25 in Florissant, 20 in St. Peters, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The 2026 St. Louis Auto Show opens today. It runs through Sunday. Let's get a preview now from Doug Smith, Executive Vice President of the St. Louis Auto Dealers Association. Doug, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Before we talk about what your contingencies are for the weather forecast that we've all been worrying about, let's really talk about some of the fun stuff that you've got going on starting today at the St. Louis Auto Show. What are some of the big trends this year in the industry?
Well, I think, one of the things that we're seeing is the modernization of the automobile continues. I always say that everybody talks about the 50s and 60s being the golden age of the automobile, but I think we're in another kind of renaissance period of that with the technology. You've got electric vehicles, of course, that are still a big player in the marketplace. You've got plug-in electric hybrids. You've got all the technology that is in a vehicle, which basically makes it a rolling computer on wheels, and that is not slowing down. And matter of fact, it's accelerating, and it's having an impact on the industry, both good and bad. But this is a great place to see about 25 automakers, what they're throwing at the marketplace to try to entice people to buy their product.
What kind of experiences can people expect at this year's show?
Well, we've got interactive stuff all over the building. We've got a kids zone that is sponsored by Mid-America Chevy Dealers. We've tried to make this over the last decades or so, a family event, and I think we've done a really good job of that, where you can bring the whole family to the event. We've also got drifting. Vaughn Gittin and his team is a professional race driver who specializes in the drifting aspect of the race program, and he will have his team there. He's been there several years. He's an unbelievable draw. He's an unbelievable showman, and we've got that as well. Ameren will have their EV Experience Center. As I mentioned earlier, EVs are still a viable consideration for any new car buyer, and Ameren is the best, my opinion only, the best resource to find out if an EV is right for you and your family. What changes you'll need to make to your home's electrical layout. They talk about range issues. They talk about charging issues. So that's there as well. Subaru will have their pet adoption event as well. They've done that for the last 6 years. We've seen they'll actually have dogs in a little kind of pen area where, folks can be looking at Subarus or visiting the Subaru area and maybe go home with a dog. There's been dozens of dogs adopted over the last 6 or 7 years that we've been doing this. And, it's just a great family atmosphere. It's going to be warm. It's going to be secure. Lots of things to look at, lots of things to touch, lots of things to talk about. Our $1 Million Mile will be there also, which is kind of your exotic cars and your one-offs. It's a great place for not only car enthusiasts, people in the buying market of a car, but also just somebody looking to want to do something on a weekend and enjoy themselves for a couple hours in our show.
You talked about the EVs, the hybrids, a lot of the new automotive technology. Do you think that this is an easier way for people to come and get education on those things than maybe, just visiting a dealer the first time?
Sure, I do. There's a stigma that goes along with buying a new car, and some people feel intimidated or they feel pressured. This is a place where you can come in and look at, anywhere between 300 or 400 cars and not have any pressure whatsoever. Yes, you can look at that car. Most of the cars that are on our show floor come from local dealers. There's 100 dealers in the metro St. Louis area from all brands. They sell about 40 different line makes out of St. Louis and the dealership groups. But you could look at, a sedan of one brand and maybe, compare it to a sedan of another brand, or a small SUV or a big SUV. And it's a great place to talk to factory reps and people who are knowledgeable about the car. They'll tell you what that car can do, kind of give you an idea of what price might be, kind of give you an idea of options, but it's a very non-stressful environment to get educated on something that you may be looking to buy, down the road in 2 or 3 months, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We have seen a spike between 10 and 15% post-show. We really don't get into the car buying season, I'm using air quotes there, until April, because that's when tax season's over. People are getting refunds. They're looking maybe to reinvest that money. And a car is one of those investments. So this is a great way to kick off the late winter, early kind of spring vibe of auto buying. And this is a great place to do it in a no-pressure environment.
Doug, could you give us some details on how to get tickets and what people need to know about the weather this weekend?
Well, the ticket information's easy. I can help with that. The weather, I'm not so good at, but tickets are $12 per person. They can be bought at the facility at the America Center. We'll have ticket offices there. Kids under 12 are free. There are group discounts available. Ticket information about the show can be found at stlouisautoshow.com or stlautoshow.com. We do open a day at 4:00, and we'll do an abbreviated session today, and then we get rolling tomorrow with doors opening at 9 and then through the weekend. We will do our very best inside the building to keep our guests warm and safe. The weather, we will have to make a decision down the road to see how bad it gets and see what the impact is. But right now we're taking the approach that the show's going to go on.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time this morning here on KMOX.
Thank you very much for the time.
That is Doug Smith, Executive Vice President of the St. Louis Auto Dealers Association, talking about the 2026 St. Louis Auto Show that opens today and runs through Sunday. Coming up next, we're going to talk with our KMOX auto expert, Greg Damon, about what he's hearing consumers want in their new car buys. It's 8:48.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts, my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday morning for Total Information AM. Of course, you just heard about this year's St. Louis Auto Show. We turn now to someone who checks under the hood of the automotive industry every day. Greg Damon, our KMOX auto expert and general manager at Sparks Tire and Auto in St. Charles. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Megan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm wondering what you are seeing in the automotive industry this year that really excites you.
Well, obviously, for me, I'm an old guy, so I've been around through probably the greatest generation of automotive technology. When I started, it was back in points and condensers and things like that. Now we got all sorts of variable displacement engines, and I could go on and on about the technology, but really the technology in driver safety, with adaptive cruise control, with automatic braking, even hands-free driving.
When you talk to customers of yours, what do you feel like they want from the automotive industry right now?
Well, believe it or not, and I don't agree with this, again, because I'm old school, but the biggest thing that people want really is hands-free driving. That is one of the biggest features that many people are looking for in a newer car today. As far as, and that's really the technology of it. For me, I'd rather have the hands on the wheel and make sure everybody's paying attention. But, a lot of these cars, as long as it's a nice, clear, sunny day, the sensors and stuff on it will work really well, and you can take your hands off the wheel.
When we talk about EVs and hybrids, we've heard so much about those. I was just talking about that, about the St. Louis Auto Show and what's going to be there to help educate people. Which one do you see as having more traction right now?
Well, it'd definitely be the hybrid. And a complete electric car, to me, I wouldn't want to have a cap put on how far I can drive it. And then have to pull over and sit and have it charged, cost me an arm and a leg to have it charged. On top of that, how long am I going to sit there? An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours to have it charged? I just wouldn't want to do that. And many people don't realize that those electric cars, as soon as you drive off the lot, the battery starts to degrade in it. And if you start running your headlights or your wipers or the heater or the seat heaters, all that takes energy away from the battery and your mileage goes down. So I definitely think hybrids are the way to go. It's been a proven technology over many, many years, and they seem to get better and better.
From a perspective of someone who works on these cars, how challenging is it to keep up with the technology?
That is a great question, Megan, and it is super challenging. Still today, doing training at least once a month, if not twice a month, just trying to keep up with the new technology that's going on. Not only that, but you have to have more specialized equipment, specialized training, as I said, and that cost just keeps going up and up too. Especially for these driver safety systems, setting the front sensor, the front radar, or the sensor in the window that takes a picture, or even the sensors on the cameras on the front and rear of the car as well for the blind spot detection. All that has to be calibrated, programmed, and set up.
Now, obviously, Greg, for a lot of people, the first few years that they own a brand new car, they're going to go to the dealer because they've got those warranties. What do you see as longevity for some of this technology by the time someone gets past that warranty and they come in your shop and they need some repairs on that?
Well, I think cars are obviously built better and better and better than what they used to be. And I know some people will debate me on that, but cars today are much more efficient than they've ever been. They have the best fuel mileage they ever have. We're getting as much emissions and fuel economy out of an internal combustion engine than we ever have before. But they keep putting more and more technology on some of these cars, and a lot of that stuff breaks. You're also seeing a lot of cars sit very low to the ground. So any type of snow or any debris on the road end up wreaking havoc on a lot of those sensors or stuff underneath the car where it will actually hit the bottom of the car.
What do you wish automakers would focus on?
Oh, man. Bringing the consumer cost down. I think that would be fantastic. I don't know that you can really touch a car under $30,000 anymore. Obviously, with the EPA requirements, the fuel economy requirements, now all the safety issues that there are, safety technology they're putting in cars, it just drives the cost up. But to me, I think that's the number one thing is let's bring the cost down as much as possible for consumers, and we'll sell more cars.
So if you buy, if you do your research, you buy a really great make of car, that it's got great dependability. Today's cars, how many miles can you get out of them?
Depending on the car, Megan, we're seeing, I will tell you, there's a lot of customers that we have here that have well over 100,000, 150, 200,000 miles on their car, and they're not planning on getting rid of it anytime soon. Actually, at Casa Damon in the Damon fleet, we have 3 cars over 225,000 miles, and I'm not planning on getting rid of any of them.
So as folks are looking at those cars this weekend at the St. Louis Auto Show, what are some questions that they need to ask and kind of tick off those boxes?
Well, I think you really need to talk about, number one, what is, obviously the cost of the car. What is that going to be? If you notice a lot of car ads on TV today, they never tell you how much the car price is. They only tell you how much it is per month. So I think you need to find out exactly what, if you're looking to purchase, what the total cost is going to be, what the finance is going to be if you're going to finance it. But not only that, find out the features that they have on the car, what's available for the car, and what kind of creature comforts you like. We're still Americans. We still love our cars. We still love getting in our cars and driving. I think a lot of people really like a lot of creature comforts. We're also seeing, Megan, that a lot of folks are thinking about downsizing, maybe from those big SUVs, downsizing to a mid-size SUV or even a car. But I think you want to make sure that all the creature comforts that you want is still available in the car.
Greg, thank you so much. Good to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Megan, for the time.
That is Greg Damon, our KMOX auto expert, general manager at Sparks Tire and Auto in St. Charles, joining us this morning here on KMOX.
Winter Stormageddon is coming, and we are ready to freak out about it. Plus, Senator Eric Schmidt wants to bring the NFL back to St. Louis. And why are some companies enforcing a no shoes at work policy? It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
AI gives you more time to fix AI. 80% of respondents